Eagles. Eagles.
And welcome in, everybody, to a Tuesday edition of Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports. I'm your host, Zander Krause. That's my co-host, John McMullen. The eve of Christmas Eve, everybody. Hope everybody's having a nice holiday week. Birds set to take on the Buffalo Bills next weekend in Week 17. Johnny Mac, great football game last night. Potential opponent in the playoffs for the Birds played in that football game. How you doing on this Tuesday morning, my friend?
Doing well. Rare day where the Eagles didn't play and something bad happened. Not terrible, but something bad happened, and that's San Francisco winning, and that's because the number one seed is officially off the table. It really was anyway, but I think they were at less than 1%, so about 8 things had to happen. Maybe a little bit higher than that, but that is officially off the table, so now potential 2 seed, very unlikely. Potential 4 seed, even more unlikely. 90% it's going to be the number 3 seed. And that enters the conversation of who should you play and who shouldn't you play. But I'm pretty sure everybody's going to play against Buffalo because you're not going to shut things down for 2 weeks. And they still have to get better. And they still have to improve, and they still have to prove some things against a better opponent after doing what they were supposed to do against the Las Vegas Raiders and Washington Commanders.
Yeah, no doubt. Johnny Mac, what'd you make of that game last night, man? I mean, obviously the 49ers are the team. We'll talk about them. Obviously, Brock Purdy, 5 touchdowns. He played pretty damn good. But obviously the lead story from last night is watching Phillip Rivers play football at 44 years old after 5 years off in the league. What'd you make of the game last night, brother?
Yeah, so much fun. I wish Indianapolis defense showed up at least a little bit, but so much fun to watch Phillip Rivers. You can see why guys like Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen love the guy. Just can run the whole game from the line of scrimmage. I don't know if they did it purposefully, but it seemed like they did. And I saw somebody tweet, it seemed like they raised the field mics and Aikman and Joe Buck kind of backed off a little bit and let you hear him do it from the line of scrimmage, let you hear some of the calls and him directing things. And man, this is what we talk about with young quarterbacks. They can't do that. They can't play the game. They can't play the position. Tremendous athletes, but when you see somebody who can play the position, it's like a maestro at the line of scrimmage and just get out of the way. And it's a shame that Indianapolis couldn't help them out on the defensive side, but it truly is fun to watch when you see somebody like that.
Yeah, man, just total control at the line, John. Total control at the line of scrimmage. He was throwing that thing too, man. I know he's 44. The arm's not quite the same as it once was, but man, when he knows where to go with the football, pretty amazing to watch, John. I really
the one thing, the arm's not there, and you could tell that. That's the one thing. But and then that shouldn't be a surprise to people. He's gained like 40 pounds, and he's been not doing anything.
He's on dad duty with 10 11 kids.
every time they showed the box, a new kid would show up.
Yeah, literally.
I mean, obviously that part of it he's lost. But it tells you, it also shows you how rare it is where, especially in the modern game, where you need the big arm. If you're on time, you know where to put the football. The vast majority of throws are not difficult from an arm strength perspective. Now, you still need to go deep, and that would show up over a longer term period, and you still need to stretch the field. So I'm not saying it's good, but you see how many throws are just get it out on time, understand the coverage, understand where guys are going to be. And, 80% of the throws are throws everybody in the NFL can make. And then, it's great to have that arm strength. Great to have that Aaron Rodgers, ability to throw the ball 70 yards when you need it, but you don't need it that much.
Right. It's more important to know what you're seeing and know where to go with the football. And you saw that last night. John, what'd you make of the 49ers, dude? I mean, I don't know
Yeah,
if
they
I'm
look good.
Yeah,
They
look
look
great.
good.
I mean,
They
I
look
don't know
very
about
good.
their defense to me doesn't look that great. Obviously, they have losses of Bosa and Warner. I mean, you lost your two best players there. But overall, that team is humming. Brock Purdy's playing good football right now. 5 touchdown passes for him last night. Stark contrast though, John. One thing I noticed in the game last night, and I don't say this to criticize Purdy or anything, but I watched Phillip Rivers walk up to the line and he's like calling out the whole damn playbook in 18 seconds. The one play that I guess Brock Purdy's headphone microphone didn't work. He's like, "What? It's not working. It's not working." And they call a timeout because he needs to get the call in from Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
But what'd you make of the 49ers, man? Brock Purdy.
Well, this is not the day to pick on Brock. He had a tremendous game. That's kind of what he is. He's a streaky guy. I don't know if it was last week or the week before he had 3 interceptions. So he's a streaky guy. And when he's humming on all cylinders, they can do some special things. And then you have, that team, McCaffrey's healthy, Kittle's healthy, and those two guys are just miserable to deal with. McCaffrey might go over 1,000 again. Yeah. I didn't know he was that close.
I got to look at what he's at. He's balling. He's such a good player, John.
He really is. He's. I've never seen anything like it from the receiving perspective. Just no one's ever done it before. To have 2, he had earlier in his career, he had 1,000-yard rushing and 1,000-yard receiving with Carolina. Now he's closing in. I don't think he's going to get it. I think it was at 820 receiving.
849 in receiving right now. He's at 1,039 rushing. So he's over for rushing, 151 back in receiving.
Yeah. So that's doable. I mean, I don't even know if they're going to play the final 2 games, So it's going to be tough for him to get there. But just 850 yards receiving from a running back. Unbelievable. And, really difficult to I always talk about Gibbs being the toughest matchup in football, and he is. But before that, you heard me say that about McCaffrey, and he's the same way. Not quite as explosive as Gibbs, but darn explosive as well when he's healthy, and just a really difficult player to deal with. And all of a sudden, they're in the midst. Nobody talks about them. But 3 teams, Indianapolis losing, put 3 teams in the playoffs in the AFC and knocked the Eagles from the potential 1 seed. So a lot of things happened with that win. And they played well. You have to give them credit. I still think, you look at the most disappointing from a perspective of that game for me is the Indianapolis defense, because I mean, Sauce Gardner's out, but they didn't have him for most of the season anyway. And, San Francisco doesn't have great receivers right now. Outside receivers, obviously Kittle's dominant and McCaffrey's dominant, but they don't have great wide receivers. You wouldn't know that from watching the game last night. I just thought it was a pathetic performance by the Indy defense, and Lou Anamuro's guy who some people say, hey, might get a head coaching job. Hopefully they don't look at that film, because that was a disaster area for the Indy defense.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't know if that trade's going to work out for him. I get why they did it, but I don't know if it's going to work out for him. We'll see. That team, I feel like they're closer to having to potentially reboot and, using what they got. We'll see though. John, the 49ers have won 5 straight ball games. All right. Now, not great opposition, but 5 straight wins is 5 straight wins. They're getting hot at the right time. What do you think of that matchup if it did come? Now, the 49ers, this is interesting. As you mentioned,
they went ahead of the Rams. Yeah. They're ahead of the Rams right now.
So would the opening round matchup be Eagles-Rams?
Yep.
Yeah.
How about that? Eagles-Rams. That's a tough matchup. And
so if the 49ers win out, by the way, they'll get the 1 seed. And I don't know if they'll win out. They have Seattle and Chicago, or Chicago and then Seattle to finish it up.
Yeah, tough road for them, but they're relevant. You got to pay attention to them. And I'd much rather face San Francisco than the Rams. But
Obviously, yep.
But if it's a day where Brock Purdy's playing well, it's But I mean, that's the playoffs. You're gonna face good teams in the playoffs. It's just the way it works.
Yeah, and with the Packers at 9-5-1, it almost feels like it's inevitable that if the Eagles get the 3 seed, they'll be playing either the 49ers, the Rams, or even the Seahawks potentially.
Yeah. It's looking that way.
So it's looking like one of the West teams, one of the NFC West teams is going to be playing Philly potentially if the Eagles get the 3 seed. And there is a high probability they get the 3 seed. They could move up to 2, or I don't even want to say they'll drop back to 4. That's and they're not dropping back to 4.
There's a slight chance, but it's very slight.
Very slight for sure, especially with that Commander game in Week 18. So
yeah.
There you go. That's the playoff picture right now. Now the Bears. So as John mentioned, 49ers slid up to 5, and the Rams are in the 6th spot. So Eagles still sitting at the 3 seed. John, it's going to be an interesting playoffs, man. Let's see what happens. But it was a good game last night. Hope everybody's doing well today. John, it's Christmas week here in Philly, brother. Well, I guess all over the globe. But what is the Eagles' agenda for the week? Let's get into some Eagles talk this morning. What's the agenda for the week this week for the Birds?
A little bit changed because of Christmas Day and Happy Holidays, everybody. But they will be having their sort of Wednesday on a normal week today, and they'll be practicing later this afternoon, which they typically wouldn't practice on a Tuesday. But Vic Fangio is going to talk before practice. Michael Clay as well, which is a little bit more interesting this week because of Jake Elliott's struggles. Practice 3:10, open locker room later this afternoon, 4:45. Jalen Hurts will talk during that period as well. Kevin Patullo will talk during that period. And then Wednesday, Nick will talk before practice about 1:25. Practice 2:15. Locker room 4:20. They're off for Christmas Day and back to work with a normal Friday. Walk through Saturday at the Buffalo Bills on Sunday. So sort of a normal week from a preparation standpoint, but still a little bit different because of the Christmas holiday. You're switching days around, but from the Eagles' perspective, it's nice to have a full week of preparation after short weeks and all that.
No doubt. So for Birds 365, we will have no show, obviously, on Christmas Day. Everybody, enjoy your Christmas. Merry Christmas to everybody, and happy holidays to all, or whatever it is that you celebrate at this time of the year. Tomorrow, we'll probably have an abbreviated show, maybe an hour, and then we'll
Christmas Eve.
Yeah, we'll do the same thing probably on Football Friday, getting ready for that Buffalo Bills game. That Bills game, 4:25 on Sunday, everybody. So lock in on that. It's going to be a good one. John, Eagles, Bills coming up. It is a good challenge. If you're the Eagles, man, you want to win some of these games. You want to win these last 2 games here, put yourself in the best position possible. I guess in theory, you could get the 2 seed. Very unlikely, but it's still possible. What do you make of kind of the final 2 games on the schedule here and where the Eagles are and just kind of how the season's gone? We've led to this point. Feels like the Eagles are still in a good spot going into the postseason, but now a tough test coming up in the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, normally when they don't play, like I said, I expect good things to happen. It just seems to have happened every week this year. But it was going to be, it was very unlikely that the Eagles were going to get the number 1 seed anyway. You shook it, so I don't think people should be too disappointed. They would have to win out. The Bears would have to lose out, so very unlikely. They will get the 2 seed. 3 seed is probably going to be theirs. Today, if the playoffs were to start, that would mean Eagles hosting the LA Rams in the first round of the playoffs. Bears would host the Packers. Panthers are currently in the playoffs, but not definite. Would host the 49ers in a potential upset scenario there, I would think. And then 3 teams clinched on the AFC side, so Denver's still hanging on to number 1, New England 2, Jacksonville 3, Pittsburgh 4, 5 is currently the Chargers. 6 is the Bills, who clinched last night. And 7 is the Houston Texans. So that's your playoff scenarios right now on both sides. But plenty of things will change because there's plenty of games that will change it. And on the NFC side, you got 3 teams in the West all jockeying. Seattle's got 12 wins, Rams and 49ers have 11 wins. And that's going to be interesting down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams have the easiest road out, John. They have the Falcons and then the Cardinals. The 49ers, as you mentioned, they have the Seahawks in the final game, and they have, who do they have next week?
Looked
it up.
They have Chicago.
Right? That's right. Chicago. And then the Seahawks, I know they obviously end with they end versus the Niners, but who do they have? They have Carolina and San Francisco. So the Rams obviously have the easiest road for the final 2 games, but let's see what happens. That's going to be an interesting one there with how that sucker shakes out. The playoff picture is coming into shape, man, John. You know, it's always fun because you speculate for a long time about who could get in, who's going to get in, who's going to be, and now you're starting to see it. You know, the teams are locked in. These are clinched. A lot of these playoff spots, 5 on each conference. So we know what the playoff picture is largely going to look like. John, the level of competition in the postseason is pretty good, but it does look like it's a road that the Eagles could make a run in.
Yeah, you had a very even, other than the NFC South winner, which is going to be Carolina or Tampa Bay. I think every single team in the NFC besides that, wouldn't surprise me if they made it to the Super Bowl. It's going to be who's playing best at the biggest time. And the Eagles certainly have the history and the demonstrated performance for a lot of the core group of being able to do it. So that gives them a little bit of an advantage. But yeah, there's going to be some interesting matchups, and boy, if it's Eagles Rams in that first week, that might be your toughest test. And if you get by that, it's going to give you some confidence.
That's not who I'd want. We in the wild card round would be the Rams. I mean, you got to knock them down, but I mean, that would be a tougher draw, I would think, for the Eagles. It's funny how quick it can change too. I mean, the Rams are right at the top for most of the time, and then boom, one loss, and it's like now they're hovering around 5-6. So it's interesting how quick it can change, as you mentioned. And still with 2 games to go, it will change. John, coming off of the game this past weekend, something notable happened in the game that we got to get an update on. I don't know how much you know. Nakobe Dean went down, J-Mac, and you obviously got one of the best rushing attacks in the league in this upcoming week in Buffalo with James Cook. It's 1,500 plus yards. You got Josh Allen, one of the better dual threat quarterbacks in the game. What is the status of Nakobe Dean? What do you know about Nakobe, if anything? And do you feel like he'll miss or play in this upcoming game?
We'll see. I'm going to go Nick Sirianni. We'll see.
I figured you'd have to ride the fence a little bit. It's probably too early to know that yet.
Yeah,
right?
It's too early. I mean, you'll get a good indication today. They're practicing, so they have to put out a practice report. Number one, doesn't look too serious, but hamstrings, could take a week or two, even less serious ones. He did have a charity thing in South Jersey the day after the game, so the day after the injury, and he said he was fine. And it's not any long-term issue, but when you're talking about a week, it's a potential problem. And you have to also look at it from the perspective of re-injuring it, so or aggravating it. So I would say short terms, yeah, it's a concern. You have to see how he's able to handle practice this week, how quickly he can get back. But long term, shouldn't be an issue.
There you go. Good stuff. I think you're going to need Nakobe, man. I know we've talked about, me and you have jockeyed back and forth on Nakobe and Jihad, and obviously the challenge, the business side of getting Jihad on the field and, what's the better move. It does feel like they're going to need Nakobe, John. They're a different looking defense, man, when he's not out there.
Yeah, I'm on the other side. Not that Nakobe has played poorly. He's played very well. I think it's, one of the stories of this season from the standpoint of what he came back from. But I think Jihad Campbell played well. So I didn't sense any issues when he was in there. They're different styles, so I get where people, different styles. Jihad's obviously about his length and athleticism. Nakobe's more of the football IQ, the instincts, the natural linebacker. And I think, he's done a really good job blitzing, and he's a very physical blitzer. And I think people just get enamored when he runs over running backs. But I mean, I'm talking about 60 defensive plays, not 2 or 3 in a game that catch the eye. I think I've said it pretty consistently. Jihad Campbell did nothing to get benched other than, Vic loves Nakobe Dean, and rightfully so. And he's a very good player, and it's a good problem to have and all that. And he'd rather have Nakobe on the field. But that doesn't, to me, it doesn't downgrade Jihad Campbell at all. And
how do you think it impacts this week? I mean, if we assume, and I don't want to assume this, but let's just say Nakobe's not out there. I do think Nakobe is better, against the run. And, you do have James Cook and Josh Allen coming to town. I don't want to bring back up the Bears game where you got ran all over. That does look like the outlier to me. But this is a good running attack coming in, John. You want to stop that run first, man. And the Eagles haven't been exceptional. I know you always had the context of it's not really what Vic is trying to do first, which I get will skew the statistics a little bit. But this is a good running attack coming in here, man. Or we're going there. Excuse me.
Yeah, and Jihad wasn't out there making mistakes against the Bears. So, I mean, I have no concerns with Jihad Campbell being out there. Zero concerns. And that's not to say they'll not have problems with one of the best running teams in the NFL. I just think, if you're going to suffer an injury, this is the position where you can suffer an injury for a week. You usually got a big downgrade. I don't see a big downgrade. Might even be an upgrade in certain aspects of the game, especially they have some good tight ends. Jihad's more capable of.
You really like Jihad Campbell, John?
Oh, I think he's showed. I'm surprised how quickly people have forgotten about him because he was so good early in the season. And he's played 578 snaps. He played 7-8 games. He's a top 10 linebacker if you're looking at PFF in the entire league. Yeah, I'm surprised. And his issues have been when they tried to pigeonhole him up front, where he's not really, ready to help. But before they got Jalen Phillips, before they got Brandon Graham back, who's now moved inside, they tried to use him up front to keep him on the field, and he wasn't very good at that. So he's faltered a little bit, but that's because of his work there, not his work at off-ball linebacker. So, yeah, I'm Team Jihad on this one, and I love Nakobe Dean, but his upside is just massive. Reminds me of Edmonds in Chicago. Just so long, so gifted athletically, and that is a pain in the ass for quarterbacks when you have a big long linebacker like a big praying mantis in the middle of the field. It's a pain in the ass to get the football around them. I'm surprised how many people are down on Jihad Campbell for something. It's bizarre to me.
People, what do you think Vic feels about it?
Well, I think Vic
like the way you explain Jihad, though, just to elaborate real quick. To me, it feels like Vic would be like, I got to get this guy on the field. Like, because I know what you're saying. I mean, he's so long, he's fast, athletic, he's got great speed. I mean, in the modern game, it's kind of like a dream scenario for a linebacker.
Yeah, well, Nakobe's got better football IQ. He's more instinctive. He's a more natural player. And Vic likes people who are in the positions they're supposed to be in. You see it with Marcus Epps at safety. You see it with Reed Blankenship. People have shit on Reed all year, and Vic every press conference will probably say it again. He's great. He's great. He's great. Why does he love him? Because he's always in the right spot. Certain guys like Drew Makuba would frustrate him. Young players frustrate him because they make mistakes. But sometimes there's a give and take. Can you accept the occasional, miscue from a mental standpoint, a mental error if they're making plays out there? So it's a give and take. But they're both good in the case of Jihad and Nakobe. I'm not, by no means am I trying to say Nakobe has played poorly. He has not. But for the first 6-7 games, whatever it was, Jihad played better than Nakobe. But Nakobe is a different style of player, and Vic would rather have the guy who's always going to be in the right spot for the most part.
John, what kind of offenses do you think are the toughest matchup for this Eagles defense? Like, you look at the 49ers, not that they're entirely different than the Rams, but they obviously have a very good running game. They rely on Christian McCaffrey. He gets a lot of carries. He's obviously already over 1,000 yards this year. They have the Kyle Shanahan scheme and system, which is obviously very good and highly sought after in the NFL, kind of. And then you have the Rams, which I don't think it's too different, but they do have Stafford who will throw the ball all over the place. Or it's a different one. Which one do you think is the toughest matchup for the Eagles defense? And what one do you think is the best type of matchup for the Eagles defense?
Well, I think proven, the toughest is the team that can run the ball and run the ball really well, as Chicago did. But I don't think that would be consistent. The Rams are the best team. The Rams are the most well-rounded team. So to me, that's the obvious answer. They all prove their difficulties. Like, San Francisco, you're talking about two guys. You're talking about Christian and you're talking about Kittle. And when they play like they played last night, they're tough to deal with. And that to me would be like the Jihad Campbell game, but you're not going to jockey back and forth.
Right.
To try to keep up with those guys inside, because Quinion and Cooper are going to shut down their receivers.
That's true, though, on Kittle, man. It's amazing what he's doing at 32. Campbell would be kind of the guy you want out there versus him.
And McCaffrey, too, because he's the one who can
McCaffrey's
chase McCaffrey, at least, somewhat keep up. It's tough to keep up with that, but somewhat better, I should say, because you're not going to match up with it. But you're not going to jockey back and forth. And they're going to play Nakobe, and we're going to see how it works out. But the Rams they can do everything. So they're the most dangerous because they can beat you in the run game. They can beat you with the receivers. We'll see if Devontae Adams gets back. They can beat you with the tight ends, as they've done, and they have a great quarterback. So they're obviously, to me, the most dangerous team and you can look at it both ways. Get it over with, gain some confidence if you get by them. But if you lose, then everybody's going to say, what a disaster. You lose in the first round of the playoffs, even though that's probably your toughest matchup.
Could go a lot of ways. What of the three West teams do you think is the best matchup for the Eagles in the opening round? Because the Seahawks could still fall too. I mean, if they lose the final game to the Niners, they have the Panthers this weekend. I think they'll beat the Panthers, but we'll see. Who do you think is the best matchup?
Seahawks.
Me too. Me too, man.
I don't know how they've been doing it defensively. They have been, so I give them credit. They don't have a ton of talent on defense other than Witherspoon, who's really good. And DeMarcus Lawrence is still playing at a high level, but, he's getting older. The proof is in the pudding of what they've been able to do, but I don't trust that defense, and that's supposed to be the strength of the team. Now, Smith and Jigba's been great, but the Eagles have enough where they can zone them up and they don't really have the complements. The running game is just meh. And obviously, Sam is Sam, which I like him more than most, but they're clearly not going to trust him in big spots. And if they do, he's susceptible to taking sacks and throwing interceptions, especially when you get behind. So, yeah, I don't see, like with San Francisco, I think they're a better team than San Francisco, but they don't have those two pains in the asses that you just can't match up with. And that's what McCaffrey and Kittle are. Smith and Jigba is phenomenal, but you have a great outside corner who can at least make it difficult for him. You can't match up. It's about matchups. It's about styles. Can't match up with those two players when they're playing well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. John, I want to ask you a question here about Dallas Goedert. He's a guy who, came into the year, took a pay cut coming into the year. We didn't know if he would be back. Now he's got a 10 touchdown passes on the year, tied with Pete Retzlaff for most touchdowns in a season by an Eagles tight end. Dallas Goedert is on a tear right now, John. I wonder what's going to happen in the future with Dallas Goedert. But what have you made of his play this year, man? He's been great, and Jalen seems to really like going to Goedert this year.
Well, he's always liked it, always been a bit of a security blanket. You saw what happened when he came back in the playoffs last year when he was out for a little bit, sort of leaned on him. I think it's more about the touchdowns everybody's enamored with, and that's, that's up to the way the Eagles run their offense. That's up to the defense, if he's going to get the ball or he isn't going to get the ball. The recent shovel pass touchdown, I've tried to explain. Look, if the defender was our old friend Devin White, if he crashes in, you give the ball to Saquon Barkley. He didn't, and a little shovel pass to Dallas Goedert. So to me, it's just circumstance. But always been a good player, and I'm glad that people are recognizing it, because he's gotten some touchdowns. And how about that prop bet? Pete Retzlaff has had the record for 60 years. And if you would have bet, hey, who's going to break the record from a South Dakota State guy? And you said, South Dakota State guy. That would have been a great prop bet.
Yeah, that would have been a great prop, no doubt. Big odds on that one, John. So good stuff there. Goddard's had a great year, and that's always good to see when a player like that does. I wonder what's going to happen with him. Contract year for Goedert, obviously coming off a pay cut. He's going to get paid somewhere. I mean, George Kittle's still balling, John, at 32 years old. So Goddard's what, 30?
Yeah. Knowing the Eagles, I don't know. And I'm sure Dallas wasn't happy to take the $4 million financial haircut. So who knows where he is, but they're going to have to make up for it if they want him back. I will say that. And if you start talking about, they made him take a $4 million pay cut. So right there, you're talking 2 years and you got to make up that $4 million. I don't know if he's going to be back, but they don't have anybody in potentially even as a developmental type. So you can say you're going to move on from him, but they don't have a backup tight end. I mean, they do, but not anybody you can count on. And they don't really have any good developmental prospects. So if you're going to move on from Dallas Goedert, you got to find a tight end somewhere.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see. John, after the big game from Saquon Barkley this past weekend, he had the big, he had a nice touchdown run. He had the big explosive 48-yarder, I think it was, or right around there, long run for Saquon Barkley. Are you feeling better about the run game, getting ready for the playoffs here? It's kind of what we've talked about all year. It's what they need to get going on offense. It's who they want to be. It's how they win football games. It's how they want to play on offense. Do you feel better about the run game, or do you think it's more of a one-off? Because I think they're going to need it in the postseason.
Yeah, a little bit better. But obviously it's not last year. It's just got to be a little bit more muddy and dirty and, I think he's been verbalizing, as I said recently, that he's got to be better with those dirty runs. If it's blocked for 3 yards, get 3 or 4. What he can't do is get the negative plays, which he had been leading the league in negative runs. So that was part of the issue. And it's interesting for all the under center stuff, coming into last week's game, and I don't know if Next Gen Stats updated it, but coming into last week's game, the Eagles led the league in negative runs from under center. But when it wasn't negative, they lead the league at 8.8 yards per carry. This is a weird team, man. So it's either negative or big. It's a weird team. And that's been the running game.
I mean, what does that mean to you? Is that just then what it comes down to Saquon Barkley making the first guy miss? I mean, I saw that play in the game. Did you see literally this past weekend where Cam Jurgens? I mean, they're just like tossing Cam Jurgens out of the way. Like,
yeah,
not even there, man. And then Saquon danced around him and went and picked up 10 or 15.
Well, it is the individual play. Sometimes it's Saquon, sometimes it's the offensive line, sometimes it's Cam Jurgens getting bullied, sometimes it's Saquon trying to hit a home run. I mean, when Nick says that stuff, he's not lying. It's like everybody wants to point to one thing. It's not one thing. It's like, the offensive line isn't as good. Saquon isn't as good. But the positivity with Saquon is he's getting better. As I said, he verbalizes it. He recognizes that he's been shooting for the home run a little bit too much. So from his standpoint, how do you fix something? Well, you have to admit there's a problem to begin with. He's admitted there's a problem, so he's trying to fix it. I think that part's a good thing because he's verbalized it for about 2-3 weeks now. I got to stop that.
Yeah, it's a very good thing.
Yeah, and it's boring, but if you get 2 yards on first down instead of negative 2 yards, you'd rather be 2nd and 8 than 2nd and 12. That's what makes it predictable. 2nd and 12. And that's a big thing, even though it doesn't seem like a big thing. So those dirty runs he's getting better at, and he's been, the past 3 weeks he's been solid. He's only got 300-yard games this year, 2 over the last 3 weeks, 3 games. And the other one was like 78 yards against the Raiders. So as long as he's at that level, I think they're fine. But again, competition.
Yeah. We'll see what ends up happening with it. John, let's read some super chats. Then I got another topic for you. And then we're going to have Mike Gill in hour number 2, everybody. Because of the shortened show tomorrow, obviously Christmas Eve, we're going to have Mike Gill on today. So looking forward to talking to Mike Gill. I want to thank Lenny J for becoming a member. Lenny J, thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man. Lenny J, 6761. Appreciate that. I'm trying to see what that profile picture is. Appreciate you for becoming a member. Here's Real Zeal. What's up, Zeal? Member for 12 months. Thank you, brother. The Colts collapse started before Jones got hurt. If the Nepo owner moves on from him, is it a no-brainer to bring him in to replace Patullo?
No, I don't think, I don't think it's just as simple as Shane wanting to go back in his career. I mean, he might be able to be a head coach somewhere else, number one. So
I think he would actually.
and number two, if the Eagles continue to play well, I don't think there's any reason to move on from Kevin. So no, it's not as simple as that. And I don't think he'll get fired. And if he does get fired, that's it. That would be a shame. But obviously, if you lose your quarterback.
What if the Eagles lose in the opening playoff round, similar to how they could have lost to the Rams earlier in the year? Field goal at the end. Now, the Eagles obviously blocked that one. The rest is history there. But let's say it doesn't get blocked and the Rams or the Niners or the Seahawks walk off and win in the opening round of the playoffs. Is there a scapegoat coming?
Well, it's tough to say yes or no because you're trying to read the mind of one man, basically.
Right.
From the standpoint of everybody else, no scapegoat is coming, but it's up to Jeffrey. And how does he look at it? And is he happy with the offense? My guess would be no, but I don't know if he knows why he's not happy with the offense, if that makes sense. So, if he wants to be what he's always stated on the record to be, he's going to have to change philosophies and quarterbacks, to be honest, and he's not going to change quarterbacks. So
I think
I
at
don't
this
see.
point, I think at this point,
I don't. I don't see the positive.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't see any positive making another change at offensive coordinator. I don't see any positive coming from it. Unless you're changing the whole thing, and they're not going to change the whole thing. They're not changing the quarterback. And if you're not changing the quarterback, there's no positive, zero.
Yeah, so might as well give him the continuity that everybody, wants to see as well. So I wonder what will happen there. I obviously, like you just said, you nailed it perfectly. It's the mind of one man. What does Jeffrey Lurie think? Who knows? Maybe he's thinking the same thing. Give him another year and see what they can do together. We'll see. Rizlo, what's up, Rizlo? Thanks for the $5 super chat, brother. He says, I think with Tank getting more snaps helps Saquon. I think when Saquon sees Tank out there, it feeds him to do better. I don't know about that, but
yeah, I don't think he's worried about that. But Tank didn't get many snaps until the game was, out of reach.
That direct deposit is about 20 times the size of Tank's every week. So I don't think Saquon's too worried.
Yeah. Yeah. So, obviously the Raiders game was Tank had a lot of carries, but that's because they ran it 16 out of 19 times in the fourth quarter when they took their starters out. So he's not really getting carries taking away from Saquon. Saquon's the guy. Now, a lot of people have argued there should be more of a complimentary, but there hasn't been to this point. So, no, I don't think at all, really.
Yeah. Rizlo, appreciate the super chat, brother. Good stuff, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for being here today on a Christmas week. Hope everybody has a great holiday. It's a great time of the year for football, man. We're coming closer to the end, so enjoy every game because there's only so many of them left. But we are in a fun time in the calendar. So thanks for being here with us on JAKIB Sports. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. All right. And comment down below, comment in the live chat, engage, or comment after the fact. If you're listening after the fact, I always try and read all the comments on the show after. So big thanks to all of JAKIB Nation for being here. John, I got a question for you about this team, kind of a big picture view. All right. These have evolved throughout the year, and now at week 16 going into week 17 now. What do you think the biggest strength of the Eagles is going into the postseason? And what do you think the biggest weakness of the Eagles is going into the postseason? And I want you to be as specific as possible. So in other words, I don't want you to say the defense is the strength because that to me is a little too broad. All right. So what is the biggest strength and the biggest weakness of the Philadelphia Eagles at this time of the year?
Biggest strength, I would say, is I'm torn between the defensive interior and Quinyon and Cooper. But I'll go defensive interior because the third corner complicates it. So I'll go defensive interior, especially when they get Jalen Carter back. They have too many players now on the interior. Really good, really just giant steps forward from both Jordan Davis and Moro Ojomo this year. Just massive steps forward. Just really good players. And if Jalen Carter is back to anywhere near what he typically is after taking some time off, you can imagine how good. And what's the easiest way to deal with quarterbacks? Pressure right up the middle. So that really has a chance to be something special. And then I'm also going to stay on the defensive side for the biggest weakness, and that's safety. That's safety. Reed Blankenship and more Marcus Epps are smart players, and Vic likes that, but they're also limited athletically. So there could be a time where they're just getting beat from an athleticism standpoint, and it's tough to make up for, especially if it's an explosive play in a big moment. So I would say defensive interior strength, safety's weakness.
Wow, interesting. I did not expect you to be on the defensive side for the weakness, but I understand where you're coming from. Obviously, with the safety spot, I think Reed's kind of gotten a little better. I don't think he had a great start to the year, but I think he's gotten a little bit better. And Epps has steadied it. So I don't know if I would go there. I'd probably go more offensive side for weakness, and then I'd go Jake Elliott too, because I think Jake Elliott could be a problem in the postseason.
Yeah,
postseason, but I don't know, man. He's struggling.
Yeah, Jake is struggling. I wasn't thinking about special teams. That's a good one. Part of it is seeing him bounce back. Saw him bounce back last year. Didn't have a great season. Super Bowl, he was perfect, basically. Indoors, I have no worries whatsoever. Now, some of the games are going to be outdoors, and that could bite you in the ass, no doubt about it. That's a good one. Offensively, I mean, everybody picks on the offense, but it's not what it should be. It's not what everybody wants it to be, but again, people can shit on the offensive line, but again, compare it to everybody else. I'm just comparing it to everybody else. Still top 10 at worst. Saquon, yeah, he's not 2K say, but he's still, I think 9th in the league in rushing.
Yeah, which is pretty remarkable, isn't it? I mean, just in a sense of like, boy, has there been some talk around the league, just and the city about how bad Saquon, not bad, but how much he's struggling.
Well, when the expectations are raised to that level,
right.
That's what happens. But yeah, he's not a bad player. Everybody's still scared to death of him.
He is up over the 4 yards to carry mark, John. He's at 4.1 now.
Yeah. So, it's hard to look at that. AJ's righted the ship. Devontae's Devontae, probably the most consistent player on offense. Dallas Goedert having a great season. Yeah, I mean, all the offensive angst is about what people expect them to be more than, oh, they're bad. So I can't really go offense unless you're basing it on expectations that maybe we're a little bit out of whack to begin with.
Yeah, let's see. We'll see what happens with everything there. I think your strengths and your weaknesses are pretty good, John. I mean, safety, I don't think is as weak as you think, but it's definitely something to be a factor. I have just a great confidence in Vic Fangio, John. Maybe too much confidence.
But so do I. I mean, so do I. But the thing is, and you saw it with Lou last night, they're not on the field, guys.
Yeah, I mean, right. I know, but like, look at. Is this defense better than you thought they'd be this year with all the changes, or are they about what you thought?
Well, from a statistical standpoint, they're about where I thought, middle of the road. But they've looked better than I thought they would look, just from because in the advanced numbers say that their DVOA, EPA, they're better than they look, and I think that's real. And yeah, it's better than I expected. Now, different reasons why. Quinyon and Cooper are just off the charts. I mean, they're just off the charts good. Nakobe was doing well for a rookie, I thought, but making mistakes here and there. Reed's not had a good season. We talked about Jihad. Nakobe. Zach Bond's just rock solid. The defensive interior, like I said, Morrow and Jordan Davis, even though Jalen Carter took a step back even before he got hurt, those guys have been so good. And then the Jalen Phillips edition, you can't speak enough about that. I don't think it's any coincidence that Alex Hunt and Nolan Smith have gotten better after Jalen Phillips got here. Because people are worried about Jalen Phillips.
Right.
And that was just a great trade. And everybody wanted Mike and some people, but everybody wanted Miles. And look, it'd be great if you get Myles Garrett, but Jalen Phillips is pretty good.
Yeah, he is. There's no doubt.
And it makes it so much easier on Nolan Smith and Alex Hunt.
Some complicated contract situations over there, isn't there, John?
Yeah, I mean, you got to pay Jalen Phillips, so.
And he's immediate, there's no time release there.
That means Nolan gets pushed back. He's going to have to wait for any potential extension. You still have some time with Alex Hunt, so you're fine there. But Nolan Smith is going to have to get pushed back.
I think Nolan might be the odd man out in the future. I mean, because Alex has played well, right?
Yeah, he's played really well recently.
Which I mean,
really well.
I mean, another year of development for him. Vic might see him as, as good as Nolan Smith with Jalen Phillips. I
think he's played better over the past month or so. Now Nolan has started to play well. That's the good thing. They're both playing well right now. So, but I think Alex has been doing it a little bit longer. Part of that might have been just the injury coming back, but yeah, Alex is doing a really good job.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll get to that next contract. We got to see what ends up happening there, but it is going to be interesting to see how Howie manages all these defensive contracts, man. All these first-round picks, John, a lot of them, Jordan, Jalen, Nolan, Jalen Phillips, there's a lot of.
What do you do with Jordan Davis? That's the interesting one.
Oh, I'm paying Jordan Davis. I can't even think about it anymore. I mean, he's earned it. I think he's – I don't know if this is bold. I guess it would be, but to me, he's shown the most promise for a future player, like how he's developed. Like Jalen Carter is obviously the most talented player on the defense, but who do you project out has the better next 5 to 8 years? 5 years, just call it 5 years.
Well, if you're talking about defensive line, yeah, I'm still going Jalen Carter. But
that's all talent, right? That's all talent alone.
Yeah.
Versus Jordan has kind of had that natural NFL progression.
A
little bit. Now he looks like a beast.
Yeah, but it depends what you want, right? He's never going to be a big sack guy. So do you want
interior D lineman? I mean, you can't pay them off sacks.
Yeah, but people love it. Do they want Moro Ojomo, or do they want
Howie love it?
No, Howie's smart.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Howie knows how to build a team. He's not worried about
that. But it's a lot of money to pay for a run stuffer. It's easy to pay. Not easy, but even what he has there. But overall, defensively, I can't go overall because it's Quinion and Cooper, or Cooper and Quinion. Take your pick. I mean, those guys are just ridiculous.
Those guys are about to get paid too. Not right away, but I mean, they're both going to.
No, they got one more year, but
Cooper doesn't have a 5th-year option, so that could be quicker.
Yep. But you still have to wait one more year. But that one, when you were just talking about upside, like long-term 5 to 8, yeah, it's those guys. But I mean, defensive front is more important than corner. But when you got corners like that, better hold on to them like grim death. Because it ain't easy to replace those guys.
No. Yeah, I would assume both of those guys are getting paid. Jordan Davis at 25 years old. He'll be 26 in January. John, look at it. Can you – how's his snap count been this year? Because it feels to me Like he's playing a lot more than just the run stop.
Oh yeah, he's
Obviously,
played a
number
ton
one
of
role, but
snaps.
yeah.
He's already way past his career high. Way past. He's at 605. I mean, that's, when we talked about it, like he's always been an effective player. But he was never in the best shape. It's been a story. And couldn't play a lot because of that. Like as a rookie, again, we'll use PFF. What else are you going to use? I know some people, but you'll like this one. He's 26 of 127 as a rookie. It's pretty fucking good. But he didn't play a ton because he's a two-down player and he's not in the best shape. 2023, 30 of 130. Pretty fucking good. 2024, 20 of 118. Pretty fucking good.
Really good.
And this year it's been unbelievable. He's 11 of 128. And he's playing he's playing 3 down starter snaps now. And he's playing at that level. But still, if you look at him individually, run defense, he's 7 of 128. Pass rush, he's 50 of 112. Which, by the way, for a big nose tackle, 6'6", 340, that's good. That's good as pressure guy.
Right.
But he's, his strength is and always has been stopping the run. And he's one of the best in the NFL. And he has been. But this time he's got the conditioning to go along with it. But as I always said, when Jalen Carter gets back, and I've said this since early before we knew how Jordan Davis would play, and take this step forward. The Eagles are going to go with a 4-man rush, and it's pretty obvious what that 4-man rush is going to be. And it's Jalen Carter and Moro Jomo inside. And it's Jalen Phillips and then you have some wiggle room, either Nolan Smith or Jalix Hunt, depending on who's playing better. That's it. And why would you want anything else?
Moro Jomo's up there too.
Well, that's what I mean. Moro's a great pass rusher, great interior pass rusher. But again, he's undersized. He's not the best run defender, although he's doing a good job.
Are you going to pay him? They're probably going to let him walk, right? I mean, they got a lot.
Well, I mean, that's
Phillips, Davis, Carter. I mean, how much money is there to go around on the deal?
Exactly. It might be a Milton Williams situation, and people will pay pass rushers, as we know, and he will get paid.
Oh yeah. He's graded up real high this year.
Yeah, he's a really good player. And he's held up surprisingly well because Carter being out, he's had to play more as a run guy, and he's doing well. He's holding up well. And that's why I think it's the biggest strength on their team. It's ridiculous. You got Brandon Graham coming in for 9 snaps, and people can't block him because they're worn down from dealing with the other guys.
Brandon Graham's played well as well in his limited snaps. Good stuff there, John, on the defense. A lot of good on the defense, and then you pointed out the bad as well. You think that safety spot is interesting. How do you evaluate Reed Blankenship this year, John?
Well, I evaluate him like Vic does. He lines up. He's always in the right spot. He communicates. He gets everybody else in the right spots. He's the quarterback of the secondary. He's the guy who does all that, but he's somewhat limited in coverage. His coverage grade this year is brutal. I mean, just awful. Everything else, he's well above average.
John, why are his grades so low, dude? He's 100th of 104 right now, safeties that I'm looking at on PFF. 100th of 104.
Because of his coverage. Look at his coverage grade.
His overall grade is awful too.
Yeah, but that's, if you look at it,
Yeah, right. You can see the 71. So yeah, I got you.
And it's been, a big drop from where he has been, but of coverage, he's ranked 97 of 98. 97 of 98. Whereas in run support, he's 44th of 86. Pass rushes, they don't pass rush, but he's well above average there. But he's got some limitations athletically, and he's got a tough time when he in space. And hopefully, but Vic.
Is Zipper Reed, you think, in Philly this year?
I don't know. Vic loves him, man.
Feels like Howie's going to look at this and be like, yeah, we can get cheaper and probably as good there.
I think a lot will determine on how he plays in the playoffs. Because he has been effective in past years. But right now, it's been a struggle for him, and we'll see at the worst time. But somebody will pay him because he's been so successful. So it is a tough decision.
We'll see what ends up happening. Good stuff, everybody. The playoff picture's coming into play. Christmas is right around the corner. Everybody should be in a good mood this week, including you, Johnny Mac. All right. So I hope everybody's having a great week. Appreciate everybody. We got Mike Gill coming up. Let's go to William Robinson, who checks in. What's up, William? Thank you, dude. $10 super chat. He says, Eagles fans, this is our golden era. Embrace it. Every down. I've been a fan since 1980, and I've been through all the ridicule as a fan when we stunk on ice. Trust me, when it's over, it's over. Embrace this era.
Well, I've said that for a long time. This is not normal. Yeah. And I've talked about, the higher expectations and the entitlements, and people get mad, but that's what it is, man. Like, just last night. So this is the 36th straight year that at least 4 new teams will make the playoffs. We're already at 5. The Panthers could make it 6. There's such upheaval in this league from year to year. And the Eagles are making the playoffs. NFC East, Super Bowl, trying to get to a third Super Bowl in 4 years. I mean,
who do you give the most credit to for that, man? Me and Cilio debated this yesterday because he's like, the coach is a caboose and the quarterback's a caboose. I'm like, how the fuck do you go to the playoffs 5 straight years and you say the coach and the quarterback are both cabooses? That to me doesn't equate. It doesn't add up. I mean, you can have your gripes with deficiencies if you want. That's fine, but I mean, those guys
and that surprises me from Cilio from the standpoint of he played the fucking game, and you're going to give the credit to the GM. Players are on the field. I never deter from that. Players first. Yes, Howie gets the players. He's in charge of that. He deserves credit for building this roster. But ultimately, they have to go out on the field and perform. And to the secondary level, Nick and Vic and Kevin, most notably, have to put them in the best positions to succeed as often as possible. So, yeah, I know. To me, that's a whole group, and that's why I'm surprised it's coming from Cilio. That's a whole group.
Just to add for you, his context was, look at, since 2017, they've only missed the playoffs 1 year, and that's with different coaches, different quarterbacks. The only remaining common denominator has been Howie. And I think that's fair context, but I don't think you can take it all away from what Jalen and Nick.
Well, it is fair context, and Howie's going to the Hall of Fame. He gets plenty of flowers. Don't feel bad for Howie. But there was a Howie before 2017, it's players. It's player. To me, it's a video game crowd mentality. That's what I think. The guys who want to give the credit to the GMs and the nerds and the analytics, that's a video game mentality. These guys got to go on the fucking field. Like, did Lou Anarumo become a bad coach yesterday? In one day, did he become a bad coach?
He wasn't a bad coach when he got fired from shitty Cincinnati, where you
exactly. Did Bill Belichick become a bad coach? Now, a lot of people say he did. When, you can't. To take it off the player's plate is just astonishing to me. When every coach will tell, every good coach, you're Alabama'd up. I said that yesterday because they're making
a run. You did say that to me yesterday.
You're which is understandable.
You were an Alabama hater yesterday. In the same show, you're criticizing Bama, and then you're like, I don't watch college football. I'm like, what the fuck, John? Come on.
Well, I just mean I don't like the way college football is run. It's not Alabama's fault.
I don't it's got some issues for sure.
But I always have tremendous respect for Nick Saban, not the new guy. But Saban, I mean, maybe the greatest college coach of all time. Maybe. You listen to him. Forget about Nick. Listen to him. Players first. Every good coach. They're not stupid. He had bad seasons. He wasn't a dummy. He failed in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder, when everybody's pretty much even. He's not a bad coach. Andy Reid. Certainly the best coach of this generation, or second best, if you want to go Belichick, first ballot Hall of Famer. He's having a bad season this year. Rare had a bad run at the end here in Philadelphia. Did he become a bad coach for a year? No. And then the assumption that, then they got Patrick Mahomes. And that's the assumption that Patrick Mahomes would be Patrick Mahomes everywhere else, which to me is absurd.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
Like development and all that doesn't matter. It's a video game mentality. Oh, Howie just picks the right players, so I'm not going to give credit. But then the same people will get upset if you criticize one of the favorite players. Like, which one is it? Like it's easy, and then it's easy. The easiest thing to do is to blame the coaches, because there's no investment in the coaches. Like, nobody's buying a Sirianni jersey, nobody's buying a Patullo jersey. Certainly, there's no investment, so they don't want to blame Jalen Hurts. They don't want to blame Saquon Barkley. It's just natural, but. It's always players first. Good, bad, indifferent. Always. Because they're the ones on the fucking field. They're the ones who have to do it. You can call it the greatest play ever. If they don't execute it, it's not going anywhere.
I agree with you, John. Good stuff, William. Appreciate the super chat, brother. We got Mike Gill coming up in a little bit. Let's go to our code. We got some more super chats. Thanks, everybody. Alexander Harris, what's up, brother? Good morning, guys. Wasn't it great seeing Phillip Rivers pre-snap calling out things he was seeing? It's like a forgotten art with the new generation of quarterbacks. Yeah, man. It was really cool to watch.
I've been talking about that for years, and it's not getting better, man. It's not getting better.
It's a trickle-up thing. It starts at the very bottom levels of football.
Yeah. It's and those guys are becoming less. That's why Shane's got to go off to get somebody on the couch for 5 years. And it's a better option than what he has in-house. And part of it is, again, they've collectively bargained practicing out of the league. So you only have a very limited amount of time, and you can't teach these guys the way you could teach them in the past. So you have to make do. That's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
And you got to dumb it down. And then when they need to figure something out, you've dumbed it down and they can't figure it out. You brought up Purdy, who's considered one of the better ones. And his helmet goes out and he doesn't know what the fuck to do.
It's true. It's just fun. I didn't say that to pick on Purdy. It just was funny to see the stark contrast in difference. Also, John, how did the Colts get to the line of scrimmage with 20-plus seconds on the play clock? Damn near every play.
Because Phillip wants to be there. You have to want to be there.
But what's the process? Is it Phillip calls the play? Like, is it a shorter play call? How do they get there? I understand what you're saying, that he wants
anybody can get there.
How do you make it happen, though?
But you see when he snaps the ball too.
Yeah, 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah. He wants to be up there to look at the defense as quickly as possible. Anybody can do it. If you most of the guys don't have confidence. So most of these new coaches want to talk to 15 seconds. They want to talk to these morons up to the 15 seconds. I shouldn't say that, but and tell them what to do. You see it even more in college, where they literally go up to the line of scrimmage. They don't huddle. They go up to the line of scrimmage. They look at the defense and they step back and they look to the sidelines. I hate that to such an extent.
I know.
And then you got some ego maniac on the side, and you can't even see shit from the sideline, by the way. Now, the smart ones obviously have people in the booth and are communicating and saying, all right, what defense are they in? But there's some ego maniacs that even don't do that. But and then they tell the quarterback what they want to run with their signals, you see the placards and stuff like that. And so they literally hold their hand through the entire process. So number one, you have to have a quarterback capable of doing it. Number two, you have to have a quarterback who wants to do it. And number three, you have to have a egoless coach who will allow them to do it.
Yeah, right. I think that might be a bigger issue too.
And that very well might be.
But it's like what comes first, chicken or the egg? It's maybe because they don't trust the quarterback. You know what I mean? Do they want it because of their ego, or do they want it because they don't think the quarterback can handle it?
Well, I would say 80% they don't trust the quarterback, but 20% is probably ego. So there you have it.
Yeah. Good stuff, Alexander. Appreciate it, brother. Charles says War Eagle, John. Oh, fuck War Eagle and Auburn. Shitty ass Auburn.
Oh, by the way, I got to get to my pet peeve before Gill gets here.
Oh shit! Go ahead, give me it. I'll pause these super.
So, and this, and I'm not going to pick on people, but and this is worse to me than anything else because it was a media person. So Brandon Thorne, for those who know, is a sort of an offensive line guru. And somebody tweeted at him, "Hey, what's up with the Steelers right guard tapping the center right before the snap?" Steelers right guard tapping the center on the road right before the snap. This is a media person, mind you. And again, now it's bad enough. How many times have I said it's bad enough? How many times have we got people say, why does Tyler Steen, the right guard, snap the center? And Brandon Thorne, God bless him, because, he's a nice guy. And he just answered it, as succinctly as he could. Common across the NFL, college football is a way for the offensive guard to let the center know when to snap the ball. It's a silent count. Everybody does it. I am stunned how many times I hear, why did they do that? They're telegraphing the snap. Everybody does it. You have to do it on the road because he can't hear the snap count. But anyway, so Jeremiah Sirles, who was an offensive lineman in the NFL, who I covered back in the day at one point, was not as nice as Brandon Thorne. And he said, if you claim to cover the NFL and you don't know what this means, immediate credential canceled. Now, I'm not going to go that far, but that's what Jeremiah, former offensive lineman, and he's done it in the past. He's been the guy who does the silent count. But, it's interesting because you led into it perfectly about the Eagles lining up so late and, why does that happen? And then so many people jump in because they want to blame Kevin Patullo for everything. Like he's doing something different. And the Eagles have been doing this since the beginning of time, since I've been here. Some teams do it, use the left guard. Eagles have always used the right guard, no matter who it is.
Yeah, I mean, as long as I can remember, I've seen it.
No matter who it is. Was Mekhi Becton last year? Like, how do you watch an Eagles game and not know that? And then you feel the confidence, and that's one thing. All right, but then to have the confidence of saying, "Oh, Kevin Petula's an idiot because Tyler Steen's tapping the silent count." I mean, that's my pet peeve of that. If you don't know that, just sit that argument out. You're not equipped to have that argument. That's my pet peeve of the day.
I love it. I think it's a great pet peeve because you're right. I mean, there should be a general understanding there on what that is and where it comes from. That was Jeremiah was not friendly to that guy, but I kind of agree with him. Unfortunately, I mean, how are you? Isn't there a level of pride you should have in what you do and what you're?
Hey, look, it is a very complicated game compared to other games. It is not something I think that is commonly known, but yeah, if you're covering the sport, you should know it.
Yeah, right.
You should know it.
I agree completely. Good stuff there, John. We got Mike Gill in the green room. Let me rattle off one more super, and then we will get the Mike Gill. Alexander said, Nick even said, show me a good coach and I'll show you good players. No doubt.
He says it all the time.
That's
all good coaches say.
Yep. Have you ever seen that famous clip of Saban talking about when he first took over play calling and the first coach he ever had, it was like high school level or early college level. And his first time he had to call plays and the guy looked at him and he said, who are your best players? And he said, that guy and that guy. He said, don't overcomplicate it. Let's get the ball to them.
Well, that's what Nick tells the same story, different way with Larry Karras, who's his mentor. And people, anytime you hear Larry Karras, take a nap because it's going to go for a while. Not Larry's fault, but
yeah,
Nick will talk about him endlessly. When his first interview, when he's going to become a coach on his staff, he asked him that question and he said, all right, what kind of offense do you want to run? And Nick went into thinking what he thought he wanted to hear. And he stopped him right away and said, you don't even know the players yet. In other words, you build the offense around the players. It's not, you don't just build an offense, you build the offense around the players, and that morphs from year to year, player to player, season to season, more even in college than in pros when you can have a group together for a longer period of time. But and then the second part is when he came here to visit, he said, let me see your play chart, your play sheet. And he was looking for his best players because you always have a point. At that time, it was 6 and 88.
Yep.
You didn't have AJ yet. And it was there because he was looking for it. And they still have it today. Today, it's 11, 6, and 88, all three of them. But when you got a must-have moment, you look at that section, 11, 6, 88, and you come up with the best play.
I'm with you, man. Yep. No doubt. Good stuff there. Appreciate everybody being here. Zeal, I'll get to your super chat after Mike Gill. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate everybody for being here. Merry Christmas to you all. Christmas, December 23rd, so the eve of Christmas Eve today. And we're lucky enough to talk to Mike Gill here on the show. You can follow him at Mike Gill Show. Go and subscribe to his YouTube channel. Type in at Mike Gill Show. Listen to him at 97.3 ESPN down the shore and 97.5 The Fanatic in Philadelphia. What's going on, Mike? Merry Christmas to you, brother. Thanks for joining us on Tuesday today.
Yeah, guys, what's up? Everybody doing good out there? Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. I got a little shopping to do today.
Yeah,
we're all last-minute people. I'll be stopping. Most of my shopping's going to be at the liquor store, shopping on the way home. Get everybody a nice bottle. So that's the way.
Driving people to drink now. I see.
Yeah. Are they driving people to drink, or have they figured it out, Mike Gill?
That's a good question. Have they figured it out? I guess it's always evolving, right? I mean, Jalen said after the game, each week is a different week, and there is no like set thing. Although that's different from a year ago, where they basically ran for over 100 yards with Saquon Barkley every single game. So it seems that they did have something. We always love to say, like, what's your identity? Who are you? And it's essentially Jalen saying we don't have an identity. We're just different every week based on who the opponent is, I guess. Have they mastered anything? Not necessarily offensively. Are they trying to? I guess they would like to be something, maybe something they can't be. Are they evolving into something? Maybe on the fly. It is kind of interesting, but it seems that at least for 2 weeks, I don't know how much you put into these 2 weeks based on the opponents, but that they have found a little bit of something in their offense. What that is, I'm not really sure.
I think it's confidence, Mike.
Could be.
Make a couple layups, and all of a sudden your jumper's back. I think that's what it is.
I mean, there's something to be said, and I talked about this maybe here and on my shows, is the fact that they got the Raiders, and I know it was they got them on a Sunday at 1:00 and just kind of got back to some normalcy in the world, right? Like going from Monday night to Sunday night to Friday night, and then finally it's like, it's a Sunday 1:00. We're not on prime time. We're not doing all the interviews. We're not doing all this before a game. It's just a regular Sunday 1:00 game with the two worst announcers they could find. I'm just kidding. The Fox team was Joe Davis and Greg Olson, but you know what I'm saying, where there's not as much hoopla around the game. And then I know that Saturday is out of the whack again, and that game got off to a wacky start with the fumble, and then you're losing at halftime, but it was by really no fault of the offense that was the problem in that first half of that game. The offense was kind of getting stuff done. And then in the second half, you lose Mariota, and that team just can't do anything. But you just kept on doing what you do. So it'll be interesting to see this Buffalo game, because both of these teams are in similar spots in this situation. On who really, they both have – the Eagles have a tough path to get to where they want to get to. But it's almost like you have to play, because Chicago doesn't play till after you. So you won't have any idea what they're set to do.
Well, I don't think you want to shut it down for 2 weeks anyway.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree, John.
I agree with that. This is like the people who want to see the starters play in the preseason game. And it's like, what's the difference? They sit out for 2 weeks after the last preseason game. So whatever continuity they did have is kind of out the window. But in this situation, you don't want to be sitting out this week, the next week. You have a 2-week gap there. That's not something that is all that appealing either. There's that fine line between trying to keep people healthy, keep them active, keep them sharp. And the Eagles are certainly dancing on it right now.
Yeah.
No doubt. Mike, the playoff picture is starting to come into play too here, so we're getting deeper into the year, man. Things are starting to really take shape. 5 teams in the NFC have locked up their playoff spot. Right now,
yep.
The Hawks are the 1, Bears are the 2, Eagles are the 3, 49ers are the 5, Rams are the 6. Mm-hmm. Now, if it ended today, which it doesn't, the Eagles would take on the Rams.
Yes.
The most opportunity for change all exist in the NFC West, where the 49ers, Rams, and Seahawks could all go up or down. It's increasingly likely that the Eagles would take on one of the NFC West teams. How do you feel about the overall NFC playoff picture, the talent in there, and how the Eagles match up with the talent across the playoffs?
Well, you're right. I mean, there's a lot that can still happen here. The West is way up for grabs. I mean, you have 3 teams down there, all over 10 wins. You got a 12 and 11 and 2 11-win teams. The Bears at 11. So they're kind of still trying to get the 1. You have the winner of the West trying to get the 1. And then, of course, the 2 other teams in the West would be the 4 and the 5 trying to be at this point right now. So I think it's pretty unsettled. That's why, does Philadelphia care who they play? I mean, I would imagine, like, you really don't have a lot of – there's not much you can do to figure out what you're going to play. So it's either you just want the best home possibilities, meaning try to get the number 2 seed and the outside shot to get, better than that, or you just kind of play it as it is and then take the chips as they fall. But I would think that the Eagles would want to get that 2 seed if it's a legitimate possibility. That's where they came from a year ago. And I think it's well plausible that the 1 seed could get knocked off with this field. You could certainly see the 7 beating the 2, whoever that might be, and then the 7 having to go play the 1, and they could be division teams. And if it's San Francisco going to Seattle, or if it's Seattle going to LA, or if it's LA going to San Francisco, one of those situations. So you definitely want to try to sneak into that 2 spot, because there is a good possibility that those teams would play each other and somebody could knock somebody off. And I wouldn't even think it's out of the realm that one of those teams in the first round would beat the 2. So you would, it
seems like the 2 is going to play like the Packers, because they're at 9 wins.
Yeah,
correct.
Most likely.
And the 5 and the 6, which are the other wild card
situation, you would get the Packers going to Chicago, which just happened, and really they should have won that game.
I know they should have won.
So do the Eagles look at it and say, look, if we're the 3, we think that there's a lot of shots on goal in front of us here that could happen, that we could get an extra home game if it happens.
Now, here, and that's the most likely scenario. The Eagles are going to be number 3 by far, the most likely percentage.
The only team I think we all, like Carolina or Tampa Bay, I think we all kind of agree it would be. Although Carolina did beat the Rams in Carolina a couple of weeks ago, and Seattle goes to Carolina this week and plays the Seahawks, which is why that number 1 seed is very interesting, because Seattle has to go to Carolina, and Carolina is playing for the division. If they win that game this week and Tampa loses, Tampa's done.
Yep.
I think of the West teams, the number 1, I think the best matchup for the Eagles is the Seahawks.
Well, that's where I was going. Rank those matchups: Seattle, San Francisco, Rams. Today, Mike Gill, 3 versus 6 matchup is Eagles versus Rams.
I know it sounds like, what you just saw most recently, but I just have all year that Niners team, they've been hurt, they've been banged up, and they just keep winning.
Schedule. I
know their schedule's been very questionable, although they're playing the same schedule for the most part as Seattle and LA is, outside of 3 teams, and those 3 teams do make a difference.
Yeah, make a big difference
in padding your victories. But they just have their offense has been they've missed Purdy and I know a lot of people are kind of split on Purdy. I've always kind of liked Purdy, but they've got an offense that could be challenging for you. And if your calling card is, I feel like the Rams defense is just undersized, and it's a good matchup for you. I think the Seattle defense would be a tough day for you. Now, I think the Seattle offense of that group is probably the least challenging. So they all have something about them that has you saying, well, I think Seattle's defense of the 3 might be the best. I think the Rams' offensive weaponry, different. They have the really good receivers. 49ers are a little bit more, they've got McCaffrey and Kittle, 2 areas that Philly kind of struggles with a little bit, defending the tight end, defending the running back. I don't know how I would rank them. Neither of the 3 are slam dunks. That's the one. I think they all offer something that would make it a challenging matchup. And that's why this field is very challenging. I mean, it's a very challenge. There is no, last year you had the Rams, you had Green Bay, both pretty good teams, but I don't know that they were great teams. And I don't know that any of these teams are great teams either. I think these are all just very good teams, solid teams, much like Philadelphia. I don't know that they're a great team yet. The one thing I would say about Philly is that I think of all the team's units, their defense might be the best unit of that group of people, of teams.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think the 2 seed is not out of the equation. I know statistically right now it's not huge.
Chicago's got a very difficult.
They got the
here.
Niners and then Detroit. Now Detroit's going to be out, so I think they're already out. So they're not going to be.
Detroit's hanging on by.
They're hanging on by a thread. Yeah,
it's a very small, slim possibility.
Yeah, which feels very.
And they're going to win on Christmas because I think we're going to get Max Brosmer. Some exciting Christmas matchups. You're going to get Max Brosmer, maybe Josh Johnson, and maybe the Kansas City guy. I still don't know his name. I was told it 3 times yesterday. I still don't know his name.
What's it like? Oladaka or something
like
that?
And the reason I don't know it is because I don't care to know it. And we might have Josh Johnson, Max Brosmer. And
you reap what you sow sometimes when you shove these teams down our
Exactly.
And you try to get blood from a stone with these teams, and this is what you end up with. I mean, listen, the Cowboys thing is over. We don't care anymore. Get them out of here on holidays. We don't need them. Build somebody else up. Get a new star. And so you deserve what you get when you put – and then, of course, the Chiefs thing, you keep throwing them at us in every single window you can possibly find. At some point, we're like, enough already with this team, and this is what you get. So I'm happy to see them get it blown up in their face.
But Mike, that's what the Eagles are now. They're in that club. They're in that club.
Yeah, and I complained about it last week, the fact that you're playing Monday night and Sunday night and Friday afternoon and Saturday. I want to be the Niners where I get to play and nobody watches me and nobody sees me and no one opines on me. It's just I play and I get Chris Myers calling my game. I just want to be back to normal here. But, that's not the way things fly. That being said, you've got all of these teams right now, the 3 West teams, the Chicago, Green Bay, Philadelphia, even though they're all locked in, they all have very important games still to come because nobody is locked into a seeding here. That's what makes these last 2 weeks really interesting. And when they put these division games together, a lot of times you end up getting some stuff like that. But, people thought when this schedule came out, you had Philadelphia playing the NFC Championship rematch twice in the last 3 weeks. You're like, geez. And then you had the Bills.
Yeah.
So the AFC representative and the NFC representative in the championship game in the last 3 weeks of the year. And think about how that could have possibly gone for this team had it worked out the way that that you thought at the beginning of the year.
It would have been a lot more fun, but it's not easy to predict this.
Could you imagine, right, if Philly and Washington were playing with like the similar situation that's going on in Tampa?
It'd be awesome.
It'd be awesome, yeah.
Yeah. But it is not.
Playoffs are setting up to be good, though. I mean, you look at these matchups at the end of the year. There still could be a lot of change. I mean, looking at the Bears schedule, looking at the Lions schedule, looking at the Niners and the Rams schedules. I mean, you got next weekend, you have Bears and Niners. That game has big implications for the Eagles. I mean, I don't know who we want to win that game, but.
Well,
you want to get the 2 seed, so you're hoping the Bears lose out.
Yeah, I was going to say you would probably want the Bears to lose because they have the tiebreaker over you. Ironically, the Rams, you have a tiebreaker on, and the tiebreaker is null and void because you can't tie them. So the tie-breaking over the Rams is kind of out the window. You do have the tiebreaker over Tampa, which doesn't come into play. You have the tiebreaker over Detroit, which doesn't come into play. So really none of your tiebreakers come into play here. Now, unless you're going to further down the line, I don't know who is the tiebreaker between Philadelphia, San Francisco, Philadelphia, Seattle. I haven't got that far in my
Well, you also, if you have 3 ties, 4 ties. But bottom line is, from the Eagles' perspective, they need the Bears to lose out to get the 2 seed. They need to win out to get the 2 seed. And that's very unlikely, but and they're not going to fall to the 4 seed. So, we're well over 90%, I think, now that they're going to have the 3 seed. And, that to your point of how things match up, to me, what's interesting about the NFC West, that's the most interesting, because from my standpoint, I look at the Rams as the toughest matchup because I think they're the best team.
I also look at the Rams, John, in this capacity. This whole, they've owned the Rams. Sirianni always beats McVay. And all these games are getting closer and closer and closer and closer.
And they outplayed them. They flat out outplayed them early this season.
And I asked this question. I asked this question the other day. When you played the Rams last year in Brazil, last year in LA, you beat them. Then you played them in the playoffs, you beat them. Then you play the game here. They really should have won that game. Do you look at that game and say, we have their number? Or do you look at that game and say, one of these times they're going to get us? And I think the latter is the way that enters your mind, is one of these times this Ram team, they don't look at that game and say, man, we just can't beat those guys. They look at that game and say, we're going to get that team. We are better than them. I think they come in with confidence.
I think that's how they came out of that game. That's how I got the feel coming out of that game, was that they knew they were better and they beat themselves. And I couldn't disagree with them on that.
I agree with you on that. I can't disagree with them on that.
Yeah. But I also believe that's the thing, man. You're in somebody's head, and I think they're in the Rams' head a little bit. I think that factors in as well. I just think they're flat out better than Seattle and San Francisco. So what if it ends up, because today that's what it is. Today, if they were starting the playoffs, it'd be Rams at Eagles. Is it better to get that over with early? Or do you want to wait as long as humanly possible?
I don't really think there's a preference, really. I mean, these teams are also, each week you're going to you're going to have a team that's very challenging in some capacity. As we mentioned, you could play the Rams in the first round and they might be the best team of the three, but that doesn't mean you advance to the second round and you're playing whomever. I think and listen, Carolina, who I don't think anybody has really seen or even watched this year, does present some challenges that I think people would just completely overlook. And that doesn't mean,
I admittedly would overlook Carolina.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would. That's a team that I think a lot of people would just overlook and not really give much of a chance. Seattle, defense, very good. They don't run the ball very well. Darnold, you're kind of waiting for the mistake. Jackson Smith and Jigba is their best option by far. Do you feel pretty good because you have Quinion and that kind of negates their one offensive weapon? They don't have a lot other than that. So I think Seattle would be an ugly type of game, but probably a game where you're the better, more talented team. San Francisco, I go back to. I think they're a challenge. McCaffrey and Kittle, their two best.
Those are two matchup nightmares.
Where problems where you don't have great matchups in that capacity. We don't know what's going on with Nakobe Dean. He seemingly says he's okay, but that's an injury I don't love at this stage of the season, right? Jahad Campbell would be the guy who would have a lot on his plate in a game against the 49ers. They would be trying to find number 30 on the field a lot, I would assume.
Well, they're trying to find McCaffrey against anybody. So that's...
Well, I'm just saying, like if you have a rookie linebacker who hasn't played a whole heck of a lot in the last couple of weeks, and you have him up against McCaffrey or Kittle or anybody, you got Kittle matched up against Marcus Epps or Reed Blankenship.
I agree. The safeties are a problem. We talked about that earlier. But my thought with McCaffrey and Kittle against a linebacker, well, they have the advantage over every linebacker, including Nakobe Dean. I would think you're slightly better with Jihad because of his athleticism. That's how I would take it.
In that game.
Yeah, in that particular game. Slightly better. Now, it's still an advantage 49ers, but slightly better, because he's more equipped athletically to handle the passing game. Running game, I don't know. But passing game, yeah, by far.
Yeah. And listen, at this stage of the season, get a hamstring injury. I don't know how you feel about that. I know he has said he thinks he's okay, but
yeah,
I don't like the sound of that at this stage of the year. Now, there were some reports that Jalen Carter and Lane Johnson could play this week. Do you guys want them to play?
I think you want them to. You got to win this Buffalo game.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not out on this 2 seed, guys. The best part about the 2 seed conversation is the Packers are only at 9 wins. So if they win out, you're still probably in a good position. If the Eagles win out, I don't think the Bears could realistically lose 2 straight here.
They could.
The Bears could lose. That's very possible.
The Bears aren't that good, but yeah. I'll tell you this, to my original point, Mike. If it ends up Rams are the 6th seed, Eagles beat the Rams in the wild card weekend, they're going to the Super Bowl. I don't care how it matches. They're going to the Super Bowl. I think it gives them.
They get the 2 seed.
So you think the Rams are the biggest?
I don't even think they need the 2 seed. I don't think they're getting the 2 seed.
You think the Rams are? I don't want to say the way that I'm going to say it's going to make you sound like you're discounting the other teams, but the Rams are the biggest.
Oh no, I'm discounting. Challenge. Yeah, the Rams are the best.
The Rams are the biggest and only challenge.
The Rams are the most well-rounded team in the NFL, and that's why Sean McVay was kicking himself after losing that game and firing their special teams coach, which I do not like because that shows panic. I thought that was a big mistake. But again, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Maybe he's disruptive. I don't know. Could be a million things. But it's weird to fire a guy. It's not a good look that late in the season. But I think they're the best team in football, period. Now, all of a sudden, they're in the 6th seed because that's a difficult division. So, I mean, I'll go to Chicago. I'll take my shot at Chicago. And by that point, I think Seattle's knocked off, and you might have the NFC Championship game here.
Even better, dude. If the Bears don't win out, or the Bears lose out the last 2 games, and the Eagles are able to win out, you could have the Bears coming to Philly for the wild card round, the opening game in the playoffs. That to me is the best case scenario.
Oh, that's a walk in the park.
That's a dream.
That's a walk in Grant Park. Gonna get.
Yeah, I got a comment yesterday. How is John so confident we're going to beat the Bears? They beat the brakes off us.
That is part of my confidence.
Well, I would say, right, because of the way they beat you and how they beat you, I would think Vic Fangio has answers to the test this time. Now, the question is, how good is Brian Johnson? Does he have more layers to that? Ben
better
Johnson,
than Brian.
Brian Johnson. Does he have more layers to that offense that he's, does held back on, that if Vic shifts to that and he zags to something else, okay, that would be interesting. But I think you give Vic Fangio a beating like that, he says that's not happening again. You better have another layer to your.
Well, that's exactly what I think is going to happen. Ben's going to go into the game and say, well, we ran it down their throat the first time. The quarterback is still young, some limitations. We're going to run it down their throat again. And Vic's going to show up with 6-man fronts, and it's going to be a shit show for Chicago. That's my prediction, if that game is to happen.
Yeah, right now, it's funny that with 2 weeks left, we have no clear idea what any paths are because it's a shell game right now. 7 can go to 1, or really 7 can't get to 1. I don't think Green Bay can get there, but literally 6, 5, 3, very slim.
Yeah, the NFC West teams are. That's everybody can.
Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 right now is the most variation. I mean, there's so much opportunity. They could all fall anywhere except for the Eagles couldn't get to the 1. Mike, what do you think at this time of the year, going into the playoffs, or at least getting closer to them now? What do you think the biggest strength of the team is and the biggest weakness? And I want you to be specific. I don't want you to say the defense is the strength and the offense is the weakness. I want you to be specific down here.
Biggest strength of the Eagles on offense.
It could be anywhere. Could be anywhere. Just the biggest strength of the team going into the playoffs.
I think it ultimately is Jalen Hurts' ability and propensity to be there in the big moments, right? I mean, I think it's when they need him the most, he can scramble and make the play. He can do it. He just chooses when he does want to and when he doesn't want to. And I think as the season goes on, you know that that's kind of still in there. So it's his ability to make that big throw. Even if he's 13 of 27 and he struggled through the day, you feel like if it's still a close game, he'll throw that ball right in the breadbasket and put it where it needs to be, to take the late lead. if it's 3rd down and 7 and he's getting chased around, he can take off and get that 8 yards. So I would still think having Jalen and his propensity for the big play is the strength of this team, because right now it's not running the football, although they're getting better at that. I don't know that they're where they want to be there. And, the passing game is what it is. I mean, those guys are great, but you got to have someone deliver them the ball.
I like that. I'd like Jalen as the strength, and also he can't deliver the ball. I like that, Mike.
It's a perfect answer. Mike, what do you think of the game this weekend, man? Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. Tough team, great running game, one of the best in football. James Cook's over 1,500 yards. Josh Allen, arguably the best quarterback in football. Definitely a dual threat guy as well. What are your early thoughts on that game? I know it's earlier in the week. You reserve the right to change your thought process, obviously. What's your thoughts on Eagles-Bills this weekend?
It's a tough game because the Bills, look, this is a game where the Bills just don't have a great defense, right? They're not known for the defense. This is kind of Josh Allen. They got a good running get back with Cook. They don't have a great wide receiver. They don't have that number 1A guy. You have Allen, who makes plays with his legs. He's very difficult to kind of keep in check. Cook is awesome, by the way. I mean, he is just such an underrated back for them. He catches the ball. He runs the ball. They don't have that breakaway guy, but their defense is not great. This is not one of these elite teams that I think you think of when you only think of them as a Super Bowl contender because of Allen, not because it's this great roster around him. They've been better the last 2 years than I thought they would be. I really thought last year I thought they were going to take a drop, and he actually carried them further than you thought they were. It's a good matchup, good test at this time of the year. I just don't know the motivation for that team either. I know they're right in the mix there, but that New England comeback the other night kind of squashed a little bit of juice out of what the Bills can possibly achieve. They're playing much like the Eagles for seeding. There's still a game back in the Patriots there. I think the Patriots have the tiebreaker over them at this stage, so it's going to take a lot for them. And then, Buffalo's the 6th seed right now, so this game does have a little bit of impact for them in seeding. Yeah. It's a fun game at this time of the year. It's a game, though, that you'd probably rather see in Week 10 to see how they stack up rather than right now. At
Mike Gill Show, make sure you follow Mike on the X platform at Mike Gill Show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. 97.3 in South Jersey, locally 97.5. You're going to be filling in tomorrow, right? Christmas
tomorrow I am on for John Marks, and Friday I will be on with John Marks.
All right, there we go. If you're local to Philadelphia, tune in to Mike there at 97.5. And last thing from me, Mike Gill, happy holidays. That's it from me. Enjoy it.
Yeah, everybody. Had to come on a day early today, but my schedule's a little wonky this week with the holiday, but glad I was able to accommodate.
Yep, Mike, we appreciate it as always, man. One of the favorites here on Birds 365. Mike, thank you, brother. Merry Christmas to you. I'll be listening to you tomorrow on The Fanatic, brother. Thank you, man.
All right, guys. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. See you.
Thanks, bud.
Mike Gill joining us right here on Birds 365. Great stuff from Mike Gill. Appreciate him checking in. John, the playoff picture is interesting, man. I was I'm messing around on this playoff predictor thing, the playoff machine that ESPN puts out. Still a lot of different ways this thing can go, man. With 2 weeks left to go, these seeds could fall all over the place. And I don't know, man. You kind of got me on the Bears thing where it's like, I know they're good, but are they ready for this? Are they ready to be that team? No, I don't know, man. And if they lose out and then they're coming into Philly, oh man, after 2 straight losses, that to me feels like a home run situation for the Eagles. But we will see, John. We will see how the cookie crumbles, my friend.
Yeah. By the way, the NFL is releasing the Pro Bowl rosters this morning as we go off the air. Starting to get some leaks. The wide receivers, no surprises. NFC, Puka Nacua, George Pickens, Jackson, Smith, and Jigba, Amon-Ra St. Brown, AFC, Jamar Chase, Nico Collins, Zay Flowers, Cortland Sutton. Those are your wide receivers, the first league. I would say advantage NFC for the big Pro Bowl game. Nobody wants to play that goofy flag football game. Obviously, I've argued that for many years. Ditch the game, keep the honor. They've finally done it. The honor's meaningful, although the all-pro teams are more meaningful, and that'll come out before the Super Bowl. But
the Pro Bowls do matter, though. I don't like when fans are like, "Oh, who cares?" I'm like, it does. The players care.
Well, the players care. Well, contracts are tied to it. Yeah.
Like, you think AJ Brown doesn't?
Yeah.
He wants to go to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You need Pro Bowl.
All pros are more important, but yes,
they are.
Important.
But the Hall of Fame voters do look at all of that stuff. How many times pro? How many times all pro? All for sure.
And so they're coming out this morning. It's good they're not wasting our time all day, so that's a positive. But so keep an eye out for that. Surprised, most of the Eagles did not finish highly in the voting, the fan voting. There's 3 separate there's fan voting, coaches, players. I think the highest vote getter was Cooper, and he was like 6th or 7th. I put it out yesterday.
Yeah, I think I saw. I think it was 7th. Yeah, Cooper was 7th. Interesting. Not many Eagles up at the top there.
Yeah, usually Eagles fans, I guess they didn't pay attention this year, but usually they stuff the ballot box. Chicago was stuffing the ballot, but they're really excited. Obviously, they've been bad for so long, so a bunch of their players were at the top, but still, the players and coaches, it's weighted more towards them. So, but that'll come out this morning.
So the fan vote is a part of it, but it's not everything, which is why Roll says Pro Bowl doesn't matter anymore. It's all a fan. And that's not true, Roll. It doesn't matter for contracts, too. Here's Zeal. What's up, Zeal? Thanks, brother, for the super chat. A couple minutes left to go here on Birds 365 today. He says, you might not like college football now, but wait a year when the Big Ten and SEC merge, play an NFL schedule and play for their own natty. As far-fetched as that sounds, it might not be.
I don't. The whole setup is just a disaster in the college football. And
as a college football lover, I do agree.
Yeah, I don't know how you fix it, to be honest. But even more than the setup, ultimately, I thought the best teams aren't playing, which to me is stupid. But whatever. Even if you get past that, the game itself is ugly. I don't like it. I don't like the way they play. I just said the quarterbacks, they look at the coaches. The coaches are egomaniacs. They run the show. I don't like it. I don't like the product. So to me, I just try to decipher down to, all right, who's going to project best at the next level? That's the only interest of me in college football at this point.
Yeah. Zeal, appreciate the super chat, brother. John, your final thoughts here on a Tuesday edition. We'll have a nice short show tomorrow for Christmas Eve. Nothing on Christmas, obviously. Merry Christmas to everybody. And then we'll do another short show probably on Friday to get ready for this Eagles and Bills game in Buffalo. All right. Should be a good one. Might be a weather game, John. It's going to be an interesting
match. Definitely going to be a weather game. It's Buffalo in December. It's just a matter, is that weather going to be during the game as far as snow and wind, or just the typical Buffalo pain in the ass, which is, it's not going to be good. Let's put it that way.
They're getting a dome, right, Buffalo? Or it's not a dome, it's like a pseudo dome.
Yeah. By the way, I meant to remind me to talk about that tomorrow. Kansas City announced.
Oh shit, we didn't talk about that.
They're moving to Kansas, and that's happening. Chicago's thinking about moving to the suburbs, even northern Indiana.
Yeah.
Cleveland is moving to the suburbs. Jeffrey Lurie, if you're listening, dude, think about it. A, do it in South Jersey to make it easier for me. But B, even if it isn't, even if it's harder for me, go to the suburbs, dude. At least at the bare minimum to get a new facility. Yeah. Now, if you can convince Philadelphia to build a dome, because ultimately you're not going to get a Super Bowl unless you build a dome in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah. No, they're not doing that.
Final Four as well. You can get all these events. You can't do it without a dome. That's why everybody's doing it. But the facility, I mean, come on, dude.
Gary texted me this last night. He says, I joined late, but hopefully you guys talked about former Eagle and franchise record holder Devin White. Did you see what they put out, John?
I did not.
The Raiders put out
Tackles.
a beautiful graphic yesterday. All right, with Devin White plastered all over it, multiple different pictures. Franchise record for most tackles in a season. New record, same predator. # Raider Nation.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Devin is what an interesting player. I've never seen somebody play so poorly and so many people think is good. It's truly a trick. It's unbelievable. Good guy too.
Yeah, he's a good dude. It seemed like it. I've never met him, but it did seem like it. Here's Shooter.
I'm looking real quick before. 86 linebackers currently ranked by PFF. He's number 79. That's a good season for him. That's a good season. Here's the numbers. I run them down. As a rookie, when everybody thought, now a lot of this has to do with pedigrees, the fifth overall pick in 2019. 68 of 90, 62 of 83. That was the high point of his career, the first 2 years. 79 of 86, 74 of 81, 80 of 82. And this year, 79 of 86. Didn't play enough in 2024. However, in Tampa Bay's run to the Super Bowl, he was phenomenal for a 3-game stretch. Phenomenal. Unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it. Somebody so bad that so many people think is so good. It's amazing to me.
Great stuff. Shooter says, "Go Eagles, beat Buffalo, wide right." 0x. I don't know what the fuck it means.
Scott Norwood missing the field goal in the Super Bowl. That's what he means.
There you
go. Yeah. Well, you better hope it's not Jake Elliott wide left.
Yeah, wide left. Jake don't miss right. He misses left, no doubt. Yeah. Shooter, good stuff. John, good show today, brother. We will talk to you tomorrow. Eagles, I know they got a long day. You already said what their agenda is, so we'll be following along with your work as always. John, thank you, brother.
All right, see y'all.
All right, see you, John. There's Johnny Mac, John McMullen joining us right here on Birds 365. Appreciate J Mac for being here today. We got to go candy cane frame today, boys and girls. All right, Anthony Rossi. What's up, Anthony? Hi, Z and J Mac, member for 12 months. Thank you for the great content this year. Wishing you and the JAKIB family a Merry Christmas and a blessed 2026. Look at that. I mean, that's a nice message, is it not, folks? Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate you, brother. Hope you're doing well, man. Good to see you back in the chat, Anthony. Good to see you back in the chat. If I remember correctly, Anthony was a winner of a salute to service last year. Anthony, appreciate the support, all right? Appreciate the support. All right. All right, guys. I got some stuff to do here on Zander time. All right, let's do this together. Does everybody want to take a look at this together? I'm not giving you a choice, so lock in. Okay, I'm not giving you a choice. You will not have a choice. Understood? Understood. Okay. Let's go right here and let's pull up. This is the playoff predictor or the playoff machine as it's referred to here on ESPN. Okay? So what I want to do is this. All right, we'll clear it up. Week 16 is already in the books. So week 17 and week 18. What I want to do is I want to go through the NFC teams that are in the playoffs, and I want us all to collectively pick the games that they have, and we will look at where the cookie crumbles for the Eagles in playoff seeding. All right? So I'll just show you what I mean. Like, let's say, for example, the Eagles win in week 17 versus the Bills. All right? And they win week 18, obviously, versus the Commanders. All right? And the Bears lose to the Niners and lose to the Lions. No, Bears lose to the Lions. Why did that not change? Bears Eagles. I thought if the Eagles lost or the Bears lost, oh, that's why I had the Bears selected. See, if the Niners win, boom. Now you got the Eagles in the 2-hole. All right, you got the Eagles in the 2-hole. The Packers, I assume, will beat the Ravens, and the Packers will beat the Vikings. Now you're looking at Chicago coming to Philly. All right, so there's a lot of different ways this thing can go. Will Seattle win out? Seattle Niners. Let's say the Niners win out here. The Niners are going to get the 1 seed. You know, Eagles taking on the Rams. So a lot of different ways this can go. So let's clear it up. All right, let's reset it. Let's run through it together. All right. No, I don't want to do that. Let's do this over here. No, a little zoomed out, a little more. Okay. All right, let's do this. Week 17. Let's start with the Eagles. Eagles, Bills. Who do you guys got? Eagles, Bills. Who do we got this weekend? Who do we got? Eagles versus Bills. Eagles versus Bills. Vulnerable says the Birds. V Lane says the Bills. Eagles. Quinion, snub from Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl is, it is what it is. Eagles, Birds. All right, so people think the Eagles are going to beat the Bills. All right, we'll put the Eagles in for the win there. All right. Let's go to the Bears, Niners. Bears versus Niners. Who do we got? Bears versus Niners. Are the Pro Bowl games out? Are they done? Are they released? 5 players who made the Pro Bowl. 4 defense, 1 offense. Jalen Carter, second. Cooper and Quinion are both Pro Bowlers. Cam Jurgens and Zach Bond. Damn, Jordan Davis got snubbed. Jordan Davis didn't make the Pro Bowl. How the fuck does Cam Jurgens make the Pro Bowl? And Jalen Carter shouldn't have made the Pro Bowl this year. Sorry, guys. There's your Pro Bowlers. How the hell does Cam Jurgens make the Pro Bowl? Cam Jurgens made the Pro Bowl? How did Jalen Carter make the Pro Bowl? Jalen Carter's been meh and missed some games. Cooper, obvious. Quinion, obvious. Great to see those 2 guys on here. Zach Bond, I think, is a good one. Cam Jurgens making the Pro Bowl is a joke. Roll, it's not a popularity contest, brother. It is in some regard, but the fan vote is calculated less than the vote of the players and the GMs and stuff. It's not only fan vote, bro. Quinion Mitchell wasn't even in the top 10 of the fan vote. He's a starter in the Pro Bowl. It's not all fans. It's not all fan driven. Let's retweet this. Let's see what the people are saying. Carter over Davis is a crime. Go Birds, DH. Classic Eagle fan. Respectfully, Jalen Carter over Jordan Davis and Cam Jurgens. No Dallas Goedert. Oh, man. There's your Pro Bowl. There's your Pro Bowl, folks. There's your Pro Bowl. Man, Cam Jurgens making it just diabolical. What the fuck? What the fuck? How did Cam Jurgens make it? That dude's been a stiff this year. Cam Jurgens has been a stiff. Oh, man. This threw a wrench in my playoff predictor, too. Davis got snubbed. Carter, agreed. Carter made it off of aura. Bond, I'm good with Bond, Quignon, and Coop. Juergens and Carter is tragic. The fact that we can have as many skill position players as we do on offense and none of them appear here is crazy. The only offensive player that appeared here is fucking Cam Juergens, and he's been a stiff. No AJ, no Devontae, no Goddard, no Saquon, no Jalen. None of them. None of them. This poverty offense. I mean, are you kidding me? Keith says, and people wonder why AJ hates it here. Yeah, I understand. All right. All right. There's your Pro Bowl. There's your Pro Bowl, folks. All right, let's go back to the playoff predictor. Let's go back to the playoff predictor. Week 17. All right, Bears, Niners. Who do we got? Bears, Niners, folks. Who do we got? Oh, my back is hurting again. Oh, shit. Bears, Niners. Who do we got? Trey says 49ers. Niners. I kind of think the Niners too. Niners. Yepa says Bears. 49ers. All right, so 49ers is in the lead. I don't know if the Niners. All right, mostly Niners. Let's go Niners there. All right. Niners, drink more waters. Thanks, Rizzy. All right. I go for the gay guy. That's hilarious, Bruce. I got San Francisco there too, so I'm in agreement with the chat. All right, what other notable game in Week 17? Rams, Falcons. I'm going to go Rams there, pretty obviously. Seahawks, Panthers. All right. Seahawks or Panthers? Seahawks, Panthers. Rams, obviously. Panthers. I kind of like the Panthers as an upset here. Wow, couple Panthers. Seahawks, Hawks, Panthers, Hawks. Panthers not ready. We're split right now. Rivers just dropped 300 on them. Y'all tripping. Yeah, Rivers is balling. Seattle. I like Seattle there. Panthers could shock them. I agree. I think the Panthers could upset. I don't think the Seahawks are losing out. No, I don't see that. And the Panthers do play good at home, correct. All right, let's go for this round. Let's go Panthers. I don't think that's what it's going to be, but let's just go Panthers for the sake of it. All right. Any other game notable? I think the Lions will beat the Vikings. Packers, I think, will win. Let's just do all the playoff teams. Packers, Ravens, I think everybody probably has the Packers there. Screw the AFC. We'll do that later. Panthers won. All right. That's all the NFC teams for Week 17. Now let's go to Week 18. Cardinals at Rams. I think we all know the Rams are going to win that game. All right. Rams at that. Rams there. Let's go. Eagles, Commanders, Eagles, obviously. I don't think the Commanders have any chance. All right. Seahawks, 49ers. Seahawks, 49ers. What do we got? Seahawks, 49ers. Seahawks, 49ers. Yo, Abe, I don't know if Tanner McKee's going to be playing, man. I really don't. Because I think the Eagles think they can get the 2 seed. You know, look, if they win this game, you can say they're already set at the 2. You can see it right here. Make sure you guys are watching right here. The Eagles have become the 2 seed with 2 wins in 17 and 18. Now, if the Bears beat the Lions, okay, it switches back. If the Lions beat the Bears, all right, you can see where this goes. The Bears are the if they tie, they're the 3 seed. Let's see what happens there. Let's go Seahawks, Niners. What do we got? Seahawks, Niners. Niners are playing good right now. Mac Jones isn't playing, Trey. Wake up and smell the roses, big dog. Brock Purdy's playing for them, not Mac Jones anymore. All right, so I'm going to put the Seahawks for now because I think the Seahawks are going to win it. But so the Seahawks, how do the Rams get the 1 seed if they win out? And the Seahawks, even if the Seahawks win that game? Because I guess I had the Seahawks losing to the Panthers. See, so if the Seahawks beat the Panthers and beat the Niners, obviously they're going to get the 1 seed. Let's go back here. We picked the Panthers here, which I don't like. I don't think the Panthers win that game, guys. Yeah, that's right. Basically, whatever team wins out. Yeah, but it looks like if the Rams win out, Rams are going to win out because the Rams have the Falcons and the Cardinals. They have the easiest road. The Rams are going to win out. So Sig says something interesting. He says the Lions are going to sneak in. So I put Lions winning in 17, and let's just say the Lions beat the Bears in 18. It still doesn't look like they're going to get in. Because I think if that had to happen, then you'd need the Packers to lose, right? Yeah, the Packers aren't losing. Yeah, you need the Packers to lose out. Remember you said that, Xander. Tea time, which one, bro? Green Bay would basically have to lose out, yeah. I don't think that's happening. I don't think Green Bay is losing out. I mean, they got the Ravens, the shitty Ravens, who suck this year. And Lamar Jackson, by the way, has the best days of Lamar Jackson come and gone? Potentially. Oh, Panthers, Seahawks. Detroit at home to start the playoffs? Oh, I wouldn't like that. I don't think that's happening, though. I don't think the Packers are losing out. Ravens are done. Z, don't sleep on an Arizona upset. What the fuck, underdog? What are you smoking? Arizona is booty juice. Yo, I want to get the 2 seed. I want the 2 seed. I can't see the Arizona beating the Rams at all. Yeah, Arizona's about to fire everybody. They might be tanking, dude. Arizona's literally about to fire everybody. If we get the 2 seed and you got to take on Green Bay, I love that matchup. Now, if the Eagles lose to the Bills this weekend, all right, now you're taking on the Rams in round 1. If the Rams win out, which they're gonna, you're taking on the Niners in round 1. If the Niners win out, you're taking on Seattle in round 1. If Seattle wins out, you're taking on the Niners in round 1. Oh! If the Bears win out and the Eagles win out, you're still not getting the 2 seed. And if the Niners Let's say the Niners beat the Bears and lose to the Seahawks. Yeah, you're still looking at that way. I don't think the Seahawks win out, though. I have them winning out right now. All right, I'm going to do this. Seahawks win versus the Panthers. Seahawks lose to the Niners. Wow, so even if now I have Seattle. Boy, San Francisco. If San Francisco wins their next 2 games, no matter what the other teams do, they get the 1 seed. I don't agree, Keith. This is clearly showing that's not the case. If the Bears lose out, which I don't think is that unlikely, we're the 2 seed. Dude, the Bears have the red hot 49ers right now, and then they have the Lions who are going to be battling to try and get squeaked in, which is unlikely, but they're still going to be battling. If the Bears lose out, we're the 2 seed. Even with a loss to the Bills, I think. Nope, not with the loss to the Bills. Eagles would have to win out. Eagles would have to win out. Sig Lord says San Fran's defense is booty cheeks. Well, Sig Lord, I got unfortunate news for you, my friend. Our offense is kind of booty cheeks too, my friend. Our offense is a little bit booty cheeks. Unreal, but I agree, Shooter. San Francisco, you can make an argument that Shanahan deserves Coach of the Year. We're the 3 seed, period. I don't agree. Agreed, Keith. If the Bears lose 2 straight, oh man, they would still get the 2 seed if we didn't win out. What if the Bears lose out and the Packers win out? Yeah. Holy shit. If the Bears lose out, the Eagles go 1-1 and the Packers win out, we'd be the 3 seed. And the Bears and that would flip. Green Bay would get the 2 seed. That would be a great scenario for us. This has strength. This has the tiebreakers built in. It's not. No limit. There's like 4 things to get through, dude. You're wrong. It's not straight to strength of schedule. It's not right to strength of schedule. The tiebreakers are built into this. Look, here are the tiebreakers right here. There you go, right there. NFC tiebreakers. 1st seed, San Francisco. NFC West champ wins tiebreak over LA and Seattle based on head-to-head win percentage. 5th seed, LA wins tiebreak over Seattle based on best win percentage in division games. So let's just say the Eagles win out. They'd get the 2 seed right there. Yeah, we're guaranteed a home game for sure. Curtis says booty cheeks are getting a bad name out here. I like some good booty cheeks. Yeah, you and me both, Curtis. But I won't talk about that. All right. Yeah, strength of schedule is down the list. No limit. You're out here spewing bullshit. No limit. Come on, man. Man, this is fun to do, to play with this thing. No diddy. All right, let's say the Bears. You think the Bears are losing out? I don't think the Bears are. Let's say the Bears beat the Lions. Boy, I think this is a home run scenario. I think this is a Seattle in Philly in the wild card, to me, is a perfect scenario. I don't fear Seattle at all. Nope. If you ask me right now, pick an NFC West team to play in the wild card, the Seattle Seahawks, the 49ers, or the Rams, I'm taking the Seahawks all day. I'm taking it. Who would you rather play in the West? I'd rather Seattle or Chicago. I think I'd rather play Chicago, roll. I think I'd rather play Chicago. Because if we go through here in the Chicago has a tough final 2 games, guys. I mean, they got to play the Niners in San Francisco, and then they got to play the Lions at home. I don't want the Niners. I'm sorry. I don't want the Niners. Why do you want the Niners? I don't understand why people want the Niners when you can have Sam Darnold. See, that's that. I don't have that mentality of we have unfinished business. I don't give a fuck about years past. I care about right now. I don't want to take on the Niners because they beat us a couple of years ago. Who gives a fuck? Fuck that. Stupid. We don't care about that. It's old years. Worry about the here and the now, not unfinished business from the year 2023. Who gives a rat's ass? Who gives a rat's ass? I don't care about that. I don't care about revenge bullshit. I want to win the Super Bowl. I don't care about damn 49ers unfinished business. I think playing Sam Darnold in Philly is like, if I was a baker, which I'm not because I can't do shit in the kitchen. If I was a baker and I could bake the perfect pumpkin pie for Sam Darnold, I would bake the pumpkin pie in Philadelphia. That is like the perfect recipe for Sam Darnold to go complete 100% pumpkin. I mean, Sam Darnold's going to become a pumpkin undoubtedly this year. But if I'm baking that pumpkin cake, that thing is finishing way ahead of schedule in Philly. Sam Darnold at the link in the playoffs. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That dude's going full pumpkin. He's going 4 picks. Cooper DeJean might have 2 pick sixes in that game. Quinyon Mitchell, who's one of the best corners in football but can't catch a ball to save his life, might even grab a pick in that game. Dude, I'm not worried about their defense because our offense isn't the reason we win games anyway. If we get 2 pick six, or we get a couple turnovers there on defense, we're winning that game. I'd rather take on the Seahawks. I'm sorry, folks. See, I get it. All these people saying, I'd rather play the lesser defense. You're acting like we win games because of our offense. We don't. We don't. We win games because of our defense right now. All right, it's both, but you get what I'm saying. The defense has been the bigger crutch for the Eagles. So to me, I'm looking at the best matchup for our defense. The offense is going to do what they do. I mean, versus a great defense or a bad defense. I mean, the Bears' defense isn't very good. What did the offense do versus them? Oh, feed me, feed me fucking Seattle and Philadelphia. Feed me Seattle and Philadelphia. That guy will go stiff. He will be a pumpkin before he gets off the plane. He will be a pumpkin before he gets off the plane. Roll, that's kind of my entire point. The Niners offense isn't as good as the Seattle defense. I agree, but we don't win games with our offense. I'm with you, Gary. Seattle's the team I fear the absolute least. It's not about Kendrick Bourne and Juwan Jennings. No limit. No limit. That offense is not built around one skilled player, clearly. If you don't see that by now after watching them for all these years, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Look at the way Kyle Shanahan schemes that offense. That offense has nothing to do with having one great player or even 2 great players or whatever. They got a great run game with Christian McCaffrey, although they've struggled this year. They have George Kittle, who's a matchup nightmare. And they have great schematics. I mean, their offensive scheme is phenomenal. I mean, you say you don't fear Kendrick Bourne and Juwan Jennings. You know what? Let's go check that out. Let's go check that out. What is going on? What the hell? Let's go check it out, shall we, folks? Jawan Jennings has 566 this year and 8 touchdowns. Kendrick Bourne doesn't have any tutties, but he's got 36 catches for 526. Yeah, it's really McCaffrey and Kittle. No, I expect McCaffrey and Kittle to step up. No limit. What the fuck are you smoking? You know Z is passionate when he says something 3 times. Oh, fuck off, Roll. Let me go back to the playoff thing. Get off this stupid-ass Niner team. All right, week 17. I don't think the Eagles are beating the Bills, guys. Does everybody feel like the Eagles are beating the Bills? What do we think? And don't go. By the way, save the Eagle Homer bullshit for another show. Do you feel like we're going to beat the Bills? Lord Smack says yes. Keith says absolutely. Kevin says yes. Gary says we fucking better. Tea time. I'm so confident we are. V Lane says Bills. Joanna says Eagles winning. All right, so people think we're beating the Bills. All right, let's beat the Bills then. Let's beat the Bills. And then we're obviously beating the Communists in week 18. All right, so Eagles are going to win out. Let's say the Eagles win out and they get to 12 wins. Now let's do the Bears. Let's just go team by team here. Eagles win out, fine. Bears, they have the Niners and the Seahawks. No, they have the Niners and the Lions. What do the Bears do? What do the Bears do? 1-1? 0-2? 0-2? L, you say winning out. Are you talking? I'm assuming you're talking about the Eagles and not the Bears. Oh my gosh. Now I'm absolutely dreaming of Sam fucking Darnold getting off the plane to come to Philadelphia. Oh my goodness. Sam Darnold, come on into Philly. You want a nice gift in round 1? Please give me Sam Darnold in the city of brotherly love. That guy will have shit in his underwear. That guy will have literal shit in his underwear. Sam Darnold. Are you kidding me? There's Keith. Guy loves pausing. This dude Keith has so much Diddy on his mind, he can't hear a single thing. Keith, get Diddy off your mind, will you? Goff is not. I don't know if I don't think Goff is a pumpkin. I know he wasn't the. First off, no limit. It's all fun and games till you see Kenneth Walker in that running game. First off, bro, JSN is all they got in the passing game. Really. So if you don't think Vic Fangio is going to be able to bracket him up and with our zone defense and take him out of the game. I mean, we just watched a game where they went a whole half without getting him the football. And you want me to be afraid of Kenneth Walker? I mean, I like Kenneth Walker. He's a solid player, but I mean, what are we doing here? Well, what are we doing here? Cooper Kupp, I guess. I mean, he's been okay. Guys, I think the worst case scenario is the Rams losing a game. Because if the Rams lose one game, then we're playing the Rams in Philly in round 1. Oh, I don't want that. Dude, I don't want that. I do not. Please. I know. And spare me the bullshit of all the people. You're not a fan because you don't want to take on the Rams. Shut up. Getting the Rams in the wild card round would be dirty work. That's dirty business. You don't want that. That is not a wild card round opponent. Trust me, we don't want the Rams round one. Yeah, I agree. They won't lose is right. So if Rams win, Seattle wins there. Let's say Seattle beats the Niners. Yeah, we're playing the Niners. Even if the Bears lose out, see, that's the best case scenario. That is such a good case scenario, I think, right there. If the Eagles win out and the Bears split or the Bears lose out, we got Chicago in Philly. Now, that's not the best case scenario. I'd rather play Sammy Darnold. Sammy Darnold. I mean, come on. Is anybody really a believer in Sammy Darnold? But I would love to get the Bears, too, in Philly. With the 2 seed, that'd be great. Because then you're probably looking at, if the Niners win, then we have the Niners in the divisional, and the Rams would take on Seattle. Oh, that would be a nice playoff run. If you can get Bears, then Niners, then the winner of Seattle and LA. Joanna says, do you think this team actually gets back to the bowl? I mean, look, here's the problem with this conversation, that we are a little spoiled in that, like, dude, we're not going to win the Super Bowl every year. I understand we have an opportunity to go and do it again, but like, if they don't make it to the Super Bowl, I can't sit here and say, oh, what an unsuccessful year for the Eagles. Like, I agree with John in that stuff. Like, I know we're fans. I know we want to see them win it all every year, but like, nobody wins it all every year. So, I don't know if they go back this year. I think the bigger question to me is like, how does it look? Do you get beaten up? Does the offense that's been stagnant this year, does it cost you? Do you think sweeping changes need to come? Like, what does Patullo get retained? Like those things. But if they don't make it to the bowl, I'm not really going to trip over it. It just depends, kind of. If they beat the Bears in round one and they beat the Niners in the divisional, and then they lose in the conference championship game to either Seattle or Philly, which they won't, or Seattle or LA, which I don't think they would lose to Seattle. I really don't think we're going to lose to Seattle in the postseason. If we get bounced by Seattle, then I'm due a plate of crow, because they're probably the number one team I want to face in the playoffs. Because I think the 4 seed's getting bounced anyway. Now, Roll, I don't mean how does it look from an aesthetic winning standpoint. I mean, like, Roll, if we look like we can't hang with the Rams in the postseason, or our offense is so stagnant that we don't move the ball, you know what I mean? Or the defense tries to hold on, but the offense doesn't move and they don't get enough points and we lose. Like, that to me will be a worry. Like that Charger game, or like that game earlier this year, the Cowboy game where we can't score for 41 minutes. It's not to me about the aesthetic. I'm more talking about what's the reason you lost and when did you lose. Let me make sure I got all my supers. Marshall says, you let Sills get you scared of the Rams, bro. We own them. Remember trends? Nick is 4-0. Yo, Marsh, that's a crock of bullshit. And whoever's selling you that is selling you a crock of bullshit. Remember when hey, Marsh, do you remember when we couldn't beat the Bucs? Remember that, Marsh? The Bucs own Philly. Remember that, Marsh? The Bucs own Philly. Yeah. Todd Bowles has Jalen Hurts' number. Yeah. Remember that bullshit? Oh, what happened? Oh, the better team just finally won the game. That's a crock of shit. Just like it was a crock of shit when the Bucs had our number. You got to play better than the Rams on a given day. I don't give a rat's ass about games that happened in the past. Certainly not games last year. I don't give a shit about we have the Rams number. What does that mean? The Rams damn near beat us this year if it wasn't for a blocked field goal. They've been in every game. Football is a game of inches. It can go any way. I still hate playing. I don't care about the Bucs at all, and I never did. And I never feared playing the Bucs when everyone said, "Well, the Bucs have your number." Fuck that. Just beat a better team than them on any given day, and all that bullshit goes out the window. I don't hate playing the Bucs at all. In fact, I would welcome that matchup, which I don't think would come. All right, playoff picture is interesting. The playoff picture is interesting. Yeah, I agree, Shooter. Rams are better than last year, and the Eagles are a little bit worse than last year. I agree. You know, last year was really a special year in that not every year, like, the team who wins it all dominated the year. Not like it still could play out this way, but like, let's just say the Eagles are able to go back this year. If they did, it would be awesome, but it wouldn't be like last year, just in that the Eagles dominated so much of last year. Like, the best team really went on to win the Super Bowl. You know, that doesn't always happen. We had a special year last year. The best team doesn't always win it, you know, and the fact that we had the best team and then we won it really, really is a special thing. You know, it's really a special thing. I mean, look at the Patriots. Their best team ever didn't win it. Crazy there was a world where the Panthers come to Philly. Really? I don't even see that. How would that work? I guess, yeah, if this happened. No, how does that work? How would the Panthers come to Philly for the divisional? Tea time, I don't agree. It'll be more impressive this year. Nah, that's tea time. Tea time, it's harder to be the best team and go the distance than it is to make a run. Because you can win any given Sunday, and you can get hot for a 4-game period. Like, do you think the Giants, when they won the Super Bowl and they were 10-7, do you think that was a more impressive year than the Eagles last year? I don't. It's harder to be dominant the whole year and then go win the Super Bowl than it is to make a run, to me. It's harder to be dominant start to finish, to me. Yeah, the Panthers did beat the Rams. Niners would go to Seattle and Panthers would come to Philly. Wait, if what? Panthers beat the Rams and Niners beat the Packers. All right, so if the Panthers... Okay, Panthers beat Rams and Niners beat the Packers. That's right. Because then the 2 seed would play the 4 seed. The 1 seed would play the 6 seed. Yeah, that is crazy. Boy, that would be a slam dunk. Well, tea time, that's fair. This is off winning a Super Bowl. That's true, bro. That's very true. So the compounding effect makes it more impressive. I agree with that. I agree with that for sure. That's true. You got to add that context. Coming off of a Super Bowl. All right, you can make that argument. Tea time, I'm good with that. Here's Marsh. Okay, it's a crock of shit. Then what y'all talking about trends? I'm calling it out, bro. Love you, man. Marsh, I love you too. I just don't want to fall into the trap of like, oh, we're going to beat the Rams because we're 4-0 versus the Rams. Like that to me, I don't like. You get what I'm saying, Marsh? I get what you're saying. The trend is that Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts have gotten Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay. I just don't want to fall into, oh, give me the Rams because we've won the last 4. I don't love that thought process. Winning the Super Bowl this year would be a sweeter feeling. I don't know if it would be. Would it? Would it? Man, I'm dying for another Super Bowl. That would be sick, dude. Because, like, 2 Super Bowls is dope to have as a franchise, but 3 is kind of another level. 2 is like 2. 3 is like 3. 3 is like multiple times. A few times we've won. 2 is like, we've won twice. 3x chance sounds good. And back-to-back, yeah, nah. 3x, that just sounds good. Now, Rams QB is no pumpkin. Roll says, after all the negativity, oh, you guys are such pussies. They were on a 5-game shit streak. They lost 3 games straight. What do you want? All buttercups and rainbows? I mean, what do you want, Roll? Leave it to the super fans that when, no matter what happens, they're just high on their horse. That's fine. That's a small group of people, though. That's like the M. Reyeses of the world. I mean, that, it's fine, but it's not impressive to say, I think the Eagles are going to be the best all the time, and they're going to win every game all the time. And then when they do win, you're like, oh, see, I was right. Well, there's been 60 Super Bowls. Were you wrong? 58 of them? 57 of them? See? Kind of not a good way to view it. It's better to be objective, in my opinion, as a fan. But not everybody's going to be that way. That's fine. There's a lot of homers. There's a lot of homers that, they got Jalen Hurts and stuff as their screensaver and all sorts of shit. We want confidence, not shake. Oh, shut the fuck up, Reyes, you bum. Reyes, you've never made a good comment. Roll Phillies. Yeah, I was talking about the AJ Jalen. Yeah, I get that. That's fine. Afraid? What am I afraid of? These are a bunch of dudes in tights throwing a ball around a field. What do you mean afraid, Reyes? What do you mean afraid? Afraid of what? A bunch of guys in tights throwing a ball around a field for entertainment? I elaborate, Reyes. Afraid. What exactly do you mean by afraid? An inconsequential game being played on grass by a bunch of dudes in tights chucking a ball around a field. Please, if you could, elaborate on what you mean, Reyes. If you're scared, get a dog. Shut the fuck up. Off topic, but how the hell did Carter? I don't know, dude. I don't know how Carter made the thing. I don't know. He shouldn't have made it. And by the way, neither should have Cam Jurgens. Cam Jurgens to me is a bigger shock because he's been booty juice all year. He's been booty juice. He's been terrible. Some Black, I think there could be some truth to this, that they're afraid to give him too many touches because he's, he has had a propensity to fumble the football. I think that could be a part of it. During the season this year, we were mid. Yeah, I agree. I think everybody who's objective would say that. Tony, what's up, brother? Stop it, Xander. Abe, stop what, you nerd? Oh, Carter's supposed to be all pro. No, he's not. Reyes, what a brutal comment. I won't even read it. You're stiff. Pumper says, Eagles team don't look genuine. Like, fellas, have you seen the Bears and Seahawks post games? Now, those are teams with the Austin Powers mojo. The Bears do got some mojo. They do. Ben Johnson's dope. Ben Johnson is dope for sure. Oh, Reyes, you're a homer. Z, where's Anton? I don't know. I was mean to him on a post-game show, Steven, I think, and I think he bailed. I don't know. I don't think he likes us anymore. That's all right. I think that's what happened. Do you guys remember when I was mean to him on the post-game show one time? And then I haven't seen him since. You know, it's funny because every time I had the post-game show, he was always the first person to click the link. Like I sent the link and he was in there immediately. So I don't know. I think he got a little upset with me. And then he's gone. I don't know. Reyes, I can't confirm or deny. I cannot confirm or deny, but I will give you that speculation. Yeah, I criticized it. That's right, Pump. I criticized his boyfriend and he had an aneurysm. Jalen Hurts screensavers. Don't tell me you got that, Lathon. You've been mean to me a couple times. I keep coming back. Well, what do you want? Do you want to be does everybody want to be glazed all the time? You want me to be Mr. Nice Guy all the time? Nice guys finish last. All right? What do you want me to be nice all the time? Shady, I don't even think you would have. Shady, I think if I was nice all the time, you would naturally just leave. You'd be like, this boring ass shit. Get me out of here, man. Get me out of here. I mean, come on. Maybe he got arrested for maybe he lives in Australia. It's a psycho place. Curtis says, I don't get too into the path for a Super Bowl. I know it is simplified, but if we play the Rams first round, we either are or aren't the best team. Let's find out. Well, we're not the best team right now. Mr. Glazed Donuts. There's a lot of those people in the chat. We would call you a Jalen Glazer. I like getting punched. Me too, Shady. Me too. It's a good thing. If Jalen wins another Super Bowl, but this time in the back, wait. We got to rewind here, Mr. Sparks. Let's dissect this sentence by sentence here. My boy, Mr. Sparks, has checked in and has said, if Jalen wins another Super Bowl, but this time on the back of the defense, does Jalen automatically start getting Hall of Fame considerations? And it was a Zach Ertz screensaver. I don't know who Zach Ertz is. All right. 1. If Jalen Hurts wins another Super Bowl, Hall of Fame is immediately going to come into play, yes. No doubt. All the Jalen haters, I don't care what you say. If you have 2 Super Bowl wins as the starting quarterback and you've gone to 5 straight playoffs and you've won your division 3 of 5 years, I have bad news for the Jalen haters. Pumper, underdog, Jalen will be in the Hall of Fame conversation. Yes. Yes. And that is just an objective truth. Now, to answer your first part, all right, I buttered you up a little bit, Sparks. If he wins 2, yes, he'll be in the discussion. If Jalen wins another Super Bowl, but this time on the back of his defense, well, I'd have to push back on that. Jalen got a lot of help from that defense last year, Mr. Sparks. Okay? Now, I'm not saying Jalen didn't play his part. He did it. He had a nice outing. But if you're telling me that Jalen Hurts making a deep throw to Devontae Smith in the Super Bowl was more impactful than the defense who didn't allow Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid to get past midfield until the third quarter or their 10th drive of the game, I would respectfully disagree. The Super Bowl last year was more to me from the and I don't say this to discredit Hurts, but that defense largely won that Super Bowl last year. I mean, the Chiefs' offense didn't get past midfield for 10 drives. Remember, Jalen threw an interception in the first half. The defense gave him a pick 6 in the first half. Again, football is a complementary game. I don't say this to take away from Jalen, only to push back on the notion that you said this time on the back of the defense. I think he got a lot of help from his defense last time, too. And to diminish that in history would be a mistake. That defense deserves a lot of credit for last year's Super Bowl win. Okay? They deserve a lot of credit for that. So I don't know what to make of that. Maybe you disagree with me heavily. T-Town, thanks for becoming a member, brother. Thanks for becoming a member. Zander, do you collect sports cards? No, I do not. I do not. I agree with this. The name on the front, that's a miracle quote, no limit. If you ever want to get into Z's wheelhouse, not to speak in third person, but geez, you just start quoting Miracle. You remember that part of Miracle? No Limit. If you've never seen Miracle, maybe get your head out of your ass and go watch it. One of the greatest American sports stories of all time. He's got him running, skating suicides. All right? The name on the front is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back. Get that through your head. Come on, man. Steven, I will block you from the chat if you say that ever again. What is Miracle? Steven, what are you, a doorknob? Steven, this is a violation. I refuse to have a JAKIB fan base that says, what is Miracle? What is Miracle? Ryan G., you're blocked after that comment. What is Miracle? You never heard of the 1980 American Olympic hockey team that was made up of a bunch of college players who couldn't make it to the pros, and they went on to beat one of the greatest hockey teams in the history of hockey, the Soviets. You don't know? You've never heard of Miracle? Al Michaels on the call? Are you kidding me? You guys suck. You guys fucking suck. JAKIB Nation, you all suck. America assembles a bunch of college kids who go out and beat the Soviets. By the way, at the time, the Soviets were destroying the freaking NHL All-Stars. It's one of the greatest sports stories of all time. Hence the name Miracle. Who cares what sport it is? No, this isn't about being a hockey fan. Miracle is objectively an amazing sports story. It has nothing to do with what sport they're playing. Everybody go watch Miracle. If you go watch Miracle and you come back here and you say that movie sucked, then all right, I think you're a stooge. But you can do that. But until you've seen the movie, don't hit me with, oh, it's hockey. No, fuck off. It's America. Are you in America? Mighty Ducks is trash compared to Miracle. Remember the Titans is iconic. Remember the Titans is great. 7, 8 times. Big Mike, I think I've watched that. There's no movie on the planet that I've watched more than Miracle. When I was a kid, Big Mike, I was the same way I am now. I didn't like movies. I didn't care for movies. I wasn't a movie guy. I wasn't like, put on the best movie in the world. I just said, yo, Mom and Dad, can we run back Miracle? We just watched it all the time. Nyla, your takes have been brutal today. Take a lap, kid. Take a lap, kid. All right? Take a lap. So dramatic. Akbar, sometimes you got to be dramatic to get the point across. All right, Akbeezy? Godfather is well, best movie ever. Again, I ain't the movie connoisseur, but I don't know. I kind of like Scarface a little bit more. Nyla, you're trash today, Nyla. I don't even know if I pronounced that right, but I don't even care. Miracle was all right. Yeah, trash. Trash. Mighty Ducks is good. I like Mighty Ducks. The Flying V. You like that, Pump? I agree with Not Hurts. ICE should deport you for not knowing. You don't know who Miracle is, you're deported. That's fair. Scarface ain't got shit on Michael Corleone. I love Scarface, dude. I love Scarface, Akbar. I always have, dude. I always have. That's why I like Akbar. Don't you know enough about me by now? He says Scarface was an asshole. No shit. No shit. Abe says, Zander, how's that movie list going? I haven't watched a single movie on the list. Not a singular movie on the list. Let me see if I can pull it up. All right. Let me see if I can pull it up. I got 11 movies on the list. Half of them will never be watched. Gangs in New York, haven't seen it. True Romance, haven't seen it. Boondock Saints, never watched it. Blow, never saw it. Book of Eli, never watched it. A Bronx Tale, never watched it. 10th and Wolf, never watched it. Paid in Full, never watched it. Nefarious, never watched it. And Silence, never watched it. Add Falling Down. These people want me to add a movie. All right, I added it. I don't even know what Nefarious and Silence are. Where did they come from? How'd the movie list go? Telling us to watch. Yeah, Abe, go watch Miracle, an actual classic. Abe. Who the F suggested Book of Eli? That would have been M. Reyes, Pumper. That was M. Reyes. M. Reyes. Oh, Zander, your movie takes are invalid. I don't have a single take that's invalid, my friend. Tea time. Sit down and shut up. All right? All right? Miracle is better than all these put together. What up, Marcus? How you doing, brother? Out of all them, Blow is the better to watch. All right, I'll tune on Blow eventually. Talking about Miracle. Miracle's legendary. Rudy's better. Rudy's all right. I've seen Rudy. Home Alone. Home Alone is a Christian Christmas movie. If you guys pick up on that, I'll be impressed. Boondock Saints, let's see. We'll see. These are off-season stuff. Like, if you guys can start pestering me on this shit in the off-season. All right? You know, I don't got a whole lot of time to watch movies right now. Okay? All right, guys. I love all you guys. I appreciate all you guys for listening. Even the shitty takes today from the likes of M. Reyes, Nyla, you know, Ryan. Even Akbar had a crappy take today. All right. Zander, you seen Bad Santa? Underdog, I think you know the answer to that one. Bad Santa. What the hell is Bad Santa? I never seen this goofy ass movie. The hell is this? Uh-oh, it says dark comedy. Akbar, none of my takes are crappy. I know, Akbar. All right. Uh-oh, we got dark comedy here. Never seen it, underdog. Anyone remember the show Uncle Grandpa? No. You always entertaining. At tea time, we're always entertaining, brother. All right, I'll have to check out Bad Santa now. Too raunchy for Z. It might be, bro. Best Christmas movie of all time. Leave it to Ryan to make a bad take. I mean, Ryan is just, you can always guarantee Ryan comes in and just has a shit take. It doesn't matter what the topic is. The guy just comes in and has a bad take on objectively everything. It's crazy. Ryan, I don't know how you do it. It's almost impressive. Here's a Pumper. Brian Pumper's screensaver is Jalen Hurts fumbling the ball to Nick Bolton. Keeps the reminder of Hurt because that Super Bowl changed to BP. Uh-oh. Wow, Jalen played good in that game outside of that fumble. Xander, are we doing a JAKIB playoff pool? Oh, we could do that. That'd be fun. How does that work? What does everybody, like, what do you do? Pick a team? How does that work? Huh? How does that work? I don't know how that works. Make a bracket? That'd be fun. Agreed. Home Alone's easy number one. Agreed. We were winning by... Oh, I hate this argument. I hate this argument. We were winning by 10. Who gives a shit? It still impacted the game. Still impacted the game. Coming back from 10 is easier than coming back from 17. It's just a bad take. It's a bad take. My money's on the pay. I don't have the money on the Patriots. Trading places, don't know it. If you're gonna do Bad Santa, you gotta do the unrated. Yeah, I'm not a rated kind of guy, so like I would go unrated if I can get that one. I like Die Hard. Die Hard's good. All right, love all you guys. I'm out of here. I am out of here. See you next time, everybody.
You've been listening to Birds 365, the destination for the passionate Eagles football fan who bleeds green. If it's Eagles football, we're talking about it. Debate inside the locker room and guests that are some of the greatest football minds from around the region. We hope you enjoyed the show. We know we had a blast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hook up with us on social media at JAKIB Sports. See you next time on Birds 365.